Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome if you're new. Olivia here with Olivia's Romantic Home, and in today's video I cannot wait to share with you 50 DIY Dollar Tree decor crafts for the spring and summer season of 2020. Now this is a binge-worthy compilation video of all of the crafty decor projects we have done in the last couple of weeks, and I'm using items that I already have in my home and items that you guys might have as well. I love to share with you all how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a teeny tiny budget. You do not have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. I also would love to invite you to my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook page. I have a Facebook page where I share more videos and also condensed little videos over there. And I have a group page in case you guys want to socialize and post photos of your home decor projects over there. I also have an Olivia's Romantic Home Instagram page. Follow me over there. Hashtag me with your projects, Olivia's Romantic Home. I love to see what you guys are up to. You're so inspiring and it's just such a fun little crafty community. But without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in your glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafting.
For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to share with you how I made a cross decor piece using a Dollar Tree garden gate. So I'm going to start out by cutting this center section of the garden gate out. The part with the little pointy end at the base there is going to be the center point of my cross. Now this is how I'm making my cross, but please feel free to create your own designs. I would love to see how you all make a cross using the items you have on hand. So if you can't find the garden cross from Dollar Tree, create a cross using whatever scrap pieces that you have in your home. Get creative. You could use popsicle sticks, you could use jewelry, you could use so many different things to make this project with. This would also be fun to do with kiddos by doing a popsicle cross. So now you can see I cut out another section of the garden fence. This is the rounded section. I'm cutting out this section to create an arm for my cross. So I have my center point cut out, and now I'm cutting out the arm section. Also be careful when you're cutting into this plastic. It's not super hard to cut, but it is a little bit tricky and the pieces kind of fly everywhere. So if you have small kiddos around, just be conscious of that when you're making this craft. So here is my first section of the cross. It's going to be the arm part. You can see it's that little pointy piece and then the little two scrolly pieces. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the other side of the garden little stake here, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So I'm cutting out that little scrolly and center point piece again to create the other side of my arm. So now I'm just going to cut out another section of my cross. I'm going for that center piece because I want to create some height in the center of my cross. So I'm cutting out another one of those center pieces with a little scrolly design on either side. And I will tell you that I actually have created this cross several different ways, just by playing around with the pieces. I got the idea on Sunday, actually after our pastor spoke on hope. I just knew it was what I needed to bring to you guys, and I've had kind of a DIY like this floating around in my head, so I'm excited to bring it to you all. But again, there's different ways that you can kind of take these sections and create a cross. You could also even do a couple of smaller ones, but I was going for a larger one. I want to use this in my living room, on my mantle, or just somewhere where I can have this beautiful reminder of my faith. And so you can see that I put that section down at the bottom, but I did also just kind of play around with different ways that I could do this one. So just keep kind of trimming those garden pieces and find how you really want it all to go together. So I did even end up trimming off some of the little pointy parts, and those are going to be the top part of my cross. So for the next part of this Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to use 2 of the love signs. These were from Valentine's Day, and I actually have already done a DIY with this project. So I'm repurposing and reusing for this Let's Stay Home project. Again, I did already chalk paint this, but I wanted to share this portion of the DIY with you because I'm reusing these signs. And so I did go ahead and chalk paint both of these signs. They ended up taking several coats of the Kilns brand chalk paint. I think the Waverly works much better, but again, use what you have on hand. So now that I have them both finished up, I'm just going to take some popsicle sticks and attach them. I ended up using about 5 or 6. You can hot glue them to the back of both your signs to create one sign. So now that I have my sign all done, I did want to patch the top part with a little bit of this patch and paint. This is spackling. You can get it at Dollar Tree. You might already have it on hand, but this is optional. You could also cover up those holes with a little jewel, or I don't worry about them many times, but I just wanted to show you guys another piece to this project. I did have some Waverly Antique Wax on hand. You could also use any kind of craft paint to just kind of give your project a little bit of a distressed look. You can probably see kind of underneath this where I had already distressed it. Again, I'm reusing this project and this board. So I'm just going in with a bit of that wax, and I'm kind of gently rubbing it around the tops and the center points to give it kind of an aged appearance, just to make it kind of look old. Again, this step is definitely optional, and the wax is really forgiving. You can really rub it in really well with your towel or rag. I'm just using an old towel, and then once I have that all finished up, here is how that is going to look once you've applied the wax, if you do have that on hand. If not, don't worry about it. So now I'm going to take the pieces of my cross and begin to place them on my board to make sure that they're going to fit correctly, and also just to see how I need to space everything out before I glue everything down. So again, here are the 2 arms, here's the center point, here's the base of my cross, and then I did end up changing that to the top section because I felt like that would look just a little bit better, and so I used this longer section for the base. But again, you guys can really play with this and see what fits on whatever board you have to use, and just kind of play around with it to get the best fit for your project. Make this your own. So, and then I'm going to use some E6000 glue. That's going to get my cross to hold on really well. And I also used some hot glue. So the hot glue will hold temporarily, and the E6000 glue will be more of a permanent hold. You're not going to want to use a whole super ton of glue, but enough glue that you can get your project to kind of stay on. And I did end up having a little bit of problem with one of my arms. I had to re-glue it, so try not to get too frustrated if you have to do a bit of re-gluing. You can always add some dabs of paint over any messy points, or add some pretty jewels or ribbons, or even flowers would look really pretty on this as well. Again, I'm running that E6000 glue down some of the center point of my arm here, and then I'm going to add some hot glue to really get it to hold really well. Once I was through attaching my little garden gate pieces, this is how my cross ended up looking. Now I'm going to go in with this large jewel. I get all of my jewels at totallydazzled.com. I will leave a link below for you, but they come in a 15 pack or 10 pack, and they're super inexpensive, you guys, like $1.50 each, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So fun to craft with. So I'm going to use some E6000 glue and also some hot glue to go ahead and attach this beautiful jewel to the center of my cross. And then I do want to go ahead and also share with you guys, I decided to add an end piece to my cross, and so I just trimmed off one of those little pointy pieces and I added one to the end of this part of my cross, and then I also added it to the top of my cross, just using a tiny bit of E6000 and hot glue, and voila, I was so excited for this project. I love having ideas in my head that are able to turn out really pretty darn good. I was just really excited because I had everything on hand, number one, but also it's just a symbol of hope for us all. And so I would love to see your crosses. Hashtag me Olivia's Romantic Home. Show me your cross, no matter what you make it out of. It could be flowers, it could be jewels, it could be rulers, popsicle sticks, you could paint one. I would just love to see what you all can come up with. And then I also wanted to share a prayer with you. Dear God, thank you for being the God who never sleeps. Thank you for always being here for me, even when I'm not always here for you. Thank you that you are love and that you want the very, very best for me. Thank you for your promises and that you never change. I'm feeling totally overwhelmed. Please help me. Help me to rest in the fact that you know what is best for me. Forgive me for turning away from you and trying to control the outcome in situations in my life. The Bible says that you are not the God of confusion, but of peace. Help me to rest in your love and to feel the peace which surpasses all understanding. Help me to feel your love and comfort. Help me to be still and know that you are God and that you will take care of me, just like any loving parent takes care of their children. Your word says to cast all of our anxiety on you because you care for us. I turn all of my burdens and concerns over to you. Please guide my every step and help me to be attentive in your loving direction. Amen. I just wanted to share that with you all to give your heart some peace and comfort. I read it and I thought it would help you all. It was a prayer that was published by Women's Day, and I will post it on my Facebook, Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook, if you guys want to go check that out. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to take a piece of styrofoam that I have used many times. Little tip here, you can turn your styrofoam sideways and just reuse it, which is what I am doing for this project. I'm going to go ahead and place it in this Dollar Tree watering can. This was another DIY we did a little while back. I've taken apart some of my floral projects, so I'm going to reuse this lavender. The lavender originally was from Walmart, but just wait to go out and buy anything until it is time, or I'm just really encouraging you guys to go ahead and use what you have. So show me your watering can floral. I'm adding this lamb's ear and then a little bit more lilacs. I think this is kind of a cute little French farmhouse I did just to add some lilacs and some greenery. And again, I took this apart from another project, which I'm going to do just so I can bring more DIYs to you all. It's so therapeutic for me to do florals, and I know a lot of you all have let me know that you're kind of learning some ideas about doing florals. I am just a mom who likes to play with florals. I've never had any real training, so thank you for all of your comments. It really makes my heart smile, and this is how it ended up being. I wanted it just to be really relaxed and kind of fun. I put it next to this little fireplace that I have going, and this is a faux fireplace. So and then just this little thrift store chair that I had made over. It was actually free, and I painted it and gave it some love. there's going to be a lot of painting going on around my home for the next couple of weeks, trying to get to all the projects that I've just been kind of pushing aside. Drop a comment below and let me know if you guys are working on some fun projects that you've been putting aside, or maybe crafting projects that you didn't have time to finish and now you may have a little bit more time available. I know it's so therapeutic for me to craft and decorate. It just really makes my heart smile. And so for the next DIY, I want to share with you guys, I had another garden gate that I had previously picked up from Dollar Tree. I'm reusing this little silver Dollar Tree tin, and then again reusing some of my floral foam. I'm going to hot glue it to the base of this little tin, and then I'm going to trim off parts of this little, it's less of a garden gate and more of a trellis. Sorry about that for all of you gardeners. I do know the difference, but I guess it could be a gate, maybe to keep some little animals out of an area, but it's a trellis. So I'm going to trim the bottom piece off of the trellis because for the size of my tin, it seemed like it might be a little bit too large. If you were using this outside though and you had real dirt in it, you probably wouldn't have to trim these pieces off. But for this video and this craft, I'm going to go ahead and trim them off and make it a little bit shorter. That way my faux creation that I'm going to share with you guys does not flop over. Just a little side note on that, because I know some of you are gardeners and may be using this out in your garden, so it probably would be fine to use if you're going to be planting some real flowers, which I would love to see what kind of flowers you guys are planting. Post it in my Facebook group page. I love to see what y'all are up to. So now that I have it all trimmed off, I am just going to go ahead and pop it into the base of this little planter here, and it did stay up fairly well. I was pretty happy with that. I definitely wouldn't be putting it out in any wind though, or outside. It's a little bit delicate. So just a side note on that. Now these are some Dollar Tree lemon branches that we created. It's a Pier 1 dupe, and I'm just popping them into this planter, and I'm going to share with you guys the DIY on how to make these lemon branches, but they're so beautiful out in the craft stores and they're a little bit pricey for me, so I created these using some Dollar Tree supplies. You guys know me, and I just popped them into the base of my little floral planter into the styrofoam, and then I tied them on with some hot glue, or not with some hot glue, but with some wire. And then I'm just taking just some, it's real actual like dead leaves from outside, and I just pop them into the base of my planter, and then I'm also popping some moss on top of that. I didn't want it to look like all dead leaves down there because the branches are green on this, but use whatever moss you have, or you could even use some burlap or just whatever goodies you have on hand. But now I feel like I have a lemon branch tree in my home. I know lemons grow on branches, but this was just too cute to pass up, and it was so cheerful, mixed in with this little be still and know that I am with you. Again, I did get all of these supplies at Dollar Tree, but wait to shop until we all get to go out back again and do all of our Dollar Tree shopping. So to refresh you on how to make this Dollar Tree lemon branch, there was the original Pier 1. I believe it was $30 or $40 for those several branches. I'm taking a Dollar Tree cotton stem, but you all could use pretty much any floral stem that you have on hand. And then I'm using some of these lemons. You can pop the lemon out of the end of your lemon branch to create this, and just add a dab of hot glue to this. You could also use flowers on your trellis if you don't have the lemons, or you could use apples and make a little apple tree, but just continue to hot glue your lemons onto the branch if you do happen to have some of these supplies on hand, and just continue on with this as you move up your little lemon plant. And they pop in there actually really good with just some hot glue. And then of course I had to add some beautiful greenery. These are just some Dollar Tree greenery. They sold these last season at Dollar Tree. I'm not for sure if they will have them again this year, but I know a lot of you all may have some sort of greenery on hand. If you didn't have the little greenery here, you could just trim some greenery off of like maybe some other floral that you guys have that you're not using, and then just hot glue those to the branches to kind of create this little faux lemon tree. But it just always brings a smile to my face to use lemons. I'm definitely going to be using a lot of lemons in my summer decor. I used a lot of them last year, so I'll just be reusing pretty much what I already had. And I did add in even a little bit of extra greenery just to make it feel a little bit more real. But yeah, so comment and let me know too if you guys decorate with lemons. I love to hear how you all are planning to decorate this summer. And I also want to let you all know that you can drop a prayer request in the comment section below for me. That will give us all a chance to pray for each other. And it will also help us feel a little bit less alone. I know when I know somebody's praying for me, it just makes me feel a little bit better. And now you can see me cutting up some fresh lemons. I'd like to do a simmering pot with lemons and basil, just simmer that on the stove to make my home smell delicious. My daughter and I are going to bake a delicious carrot cake.
So we have the Betty Crocker carrot cake, and then we have the cream cheese frosting, and then we have 2 sticks of butter, 3 eggs, and we have some cinnamon and some vanilla extract that we're going to use. So to begin baking your cake, just put in the whole box of cake mix, and then 1 cup of just water. And now we're going to start cracking 3 eggs.
So this is one of the favorite recipes of our family, and it's so easy. We love the Betty Crocker cake mix. Of course, this isn't super healthy, but we love to use butter. We used a stick of butter, and then
2 more tablespoons, or 3 more tablespoons, yeah. And then we just melted these in the microwave.
So we added in our butter, and now we're going to zhuzh it up just a little bit. We decided to add a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and then also a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. It didn't call for that, but I picked these up at the Dollar Tree to make a simmering pot, and I just thought that it would add some deliciousness to our cake. And now I'm going ahead and adding in our melted butter. We melted the butter in the microwave for about 35 seconds, and then we're just using our hand mixer. Although a lot of you guys said that we really need to get one of those really
mixing
cute
bowls.
Yeah, pink mixers to put on, you know, pink or aqua. I think those are so adorable
Those
to
are
have
so cute.
on your counter. Wouldn't that be super fun? I would love that. Yeah. So now we're just mixing up our cake mix. It called to mix it for
about 2 minutes, but we did it for about 3, so it'll be really fluffy.
Yes.
And then now we're just gonna scrape it all into the pan.
And I did grease my pan, and usually I add some flour, but I was out of flour, so it did stick to the pan just a little bit, but hey, it tasted so delicious. I don't think anybody really noticed. So now that it's out of the oven, we're just going to go ahead and cut it and add some delicious
icing.
That is our favorite part. Oh my goodness, yummy. Comment and let me know if you guys love carrot cake. If you're going to try this, again, this is a family favorite. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take some Dollar Tree contact paper and some of my little sink side hand lotion and hand soap, and I want to give them a makeover. I'm just going to be repurposing and reusing all of the bottles I have from now on and just refilling them when they become empty. And so I'm removing the label, and then I'm taking this Dollar Tree contact paper. I actually had the blue and white one or the black and white one in mind, and for this set of DIYs I decided to go with the black and white contact paper. I'm going for kind of a French farmhouse theme, and I also used this black and white contact paper a lot in my kitchen, so it's going to match some of my cupboards. So the contact paper is really easy to use. It already has lines on the back, so once you cut your contact paper to size, you can just double check and make sure that it fits properly. I ended up having to cut a little bit more off, and I will tell you that the contact paper had a little tiny bit of a ripple as you go around. Maybe if you don't care for that, you could just go ahead and cut it a little bit smaller, but I did want to go ahead and have my contact paper kind of fit over the whole bottle. So once I had the correct size, I just went ahead and gently placed it on the bottle and then gently kind of wrapped it in and around the bottle. I think this is such a fun way to give your everyday cleaning supplies a little makeover, and you can see my helper over there bringing some more of the cleaning supplies to me. Now again, this is just my sink side hand lotion and hand soap, and I also ended up doing my dish soap. We all use this and we're all adults in my household, and so I knew exactly what was going to be in them. Now you would want to mark them, and if it's going to be anything that's going to be used by kiddos, but again, we're all pretty much adults in my home, and we use this hand soap and hand lotion over and over. So anyway, I went ahead and did this with my hand soap, and I just think this is so adorable. I love this black and white print, and I think this is just such a fun way to make over a good old plastic bottle. You guys could really do this with pretty much any of them. And then I even decided to jazz up my dish soap just to make it a little bit more fun and fabulous, since we all are doing a lot of cleaning now. And you guys can see the contact paper doesn't go on exactly completely smoothly, but keep working with it and have fun with it. You could also even Mod Podge some pretty napkins to your bottles or whatnot. Now how adorable is this with our super cute French farmhouse theme? For the next DIY, we're actually going to take an old tissue box, and I'm just going to cut the top of it off. I want to create a really cute little storage container to store some of my crafting supplies, and go ahead and hang on to any tissue boxes or cereal boxes, because we are going to be doing some really fun trash to treasure projects in the upcoming weeks. So once I cut the top of my tissue box off, I'm just going to cut some contact paper to fit the size of my tissue box. Now if you don't have contact paper for this project, you could also use fabric, or you could decoupage some pretty napkins or tissue to the front of your box. You could even paint your box. I've done that before, but get creative again and use what you have. This ended up turning out so much better than I was hoping for. Did you guys love it when a project goes a little bit better than planned? And definitely not all of my projects do that, but this one I was pretty pleased with. So I completely covered my little tissue box all around the sides, and then I have this cute little graphic from graphicsfairy.com. I will leave their link down below, but I just googled French farmhouse labels and I found this cute little French label, and then I'm adding some Mod Podge to the back of it, and then I also added some Mod Podge to the front of it to seal it off. Now, once I had the label Mod Podge to the front, I went ahead and went in with some really cute little ribbon. It was kind of a burlap ribbon, and I just began to add some dabs of hot glue to every corner, and then I did run even a little bit more hot glue down some of the edges to make sure it stayed on there nice and easy. So just run a little line down that, and then you can just continue to work your way around. Again, dig into your stash. You'll be so surprised as to what you really have. I've really been trying to use what I have, and I'm so surprised every time I go into my stash of craft goodies that I forget how much ribbon I have or how much stuff that I have. So I'm really interested to see how creative we're going to be over the next couple of weeks. It's actually kind of a little bit of an exciting challenge for me. I grew up on 100 acres with a very little TV, so I was always creative, and I feel like this is just really bringing out some creativity. So I'm adding this cute little burlap flower to the front, and then I'm going to go ahead and use some Dollar Tree twine, and I'm going to just tie some little shoelace bows to add to the front of this. Again, get creative and use whatever you have. You could add jewels or roses or whatever you have. And then I'm also adding some of that twine around the top. I wanted to kind of add the twine around the top to kind of mix it in with how the rest of the project was. So I'm going again for that French farmhouse kind of rustic glam is really what I love, and I'm hoping to make some more of these to match this one. Now, how adorable is this, you guys? Oh my goodness, I ended up popping some burlap into it, but I want to make a couple of more because I am working on organizing my craft room, like seriously trying to get things to come together and really organize them. Let me know if you guys have any really great solutions for craft storage. I just feel like there's so many different moving parts to the amount of craft supplies that I have. I just haven't come up with an awesome way, but I am going to be redoing a lot of things. So for the next DIY, we're going to repurpose some more trash to treasure here. I'm taking this old Prego jar, and again, another beautiful image from graphicsfairy.com. This was just a little French label image. It's a French soap label image. So when you go to graphicsfairy.com, all you have to do is Google French label, French soap label. And so I'm just taking some Mod Podge and I'm Mod Podging it to the front of this spaghetti jar. This is just a spaghetti jar. I've been using a lot of things out of my pantry lately. My kiddos love spaghetti and meatballs, so I have several spaghetti jars saved. So if you guys have spaghetti jars or pickle jars, definitely be saving those. We're going to be repurposing and reusing those and just making them beautiful with whatever we have in our craft stash. Now, if you're not able to print out something from the Graphics Fairy like I did with this label, get creative and look at what pretty napkins you might have on hand. You could also even Mod Podge some lace or fabric, and that might be a fun upcoming DIY. I know a lot of you all say that you Mod Podge lace to jars. I haven't tried that craft yet, but I think that's definitely on my to-do list. And then once I had my pretty label on, I dug into my craft stash again and I found this beautiful vintage trim that a wonderful little subscriber had sent me. I've been hanging on to it for probably almost a year now and finally finding a way to use it. So I'm just hot gluing in and around the top of my Prego spaghetti jar and adding this beautiful piece of trim. I've done jars like this and gotten really fancy with them. So I did add this beautiful little bling jewel. I get all of my bling jewels off of totallydazzle.com. You'll have to check them out. Natalie is so sweet and they're so affordable if you love to get a little bit of glam. But if you don't want to order jewels, you can also use an old piece of jewelry or maybe a sentimental piece of jewelry. It would be a nice gift to give eventually. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to take this Let It Snow sign and another image from the graphicsfairy.com. Again, the images that I find on there are totally free. This was just a French farmhouse rooster image that I printed and then I cut out, and I just print it on regular paper, and then I Mod Podged the back of the image, and then I Mod Podged over the front of the image just to get it on there really good. I want to make a really cute little French farmhouse kitchen sign to go in my kitchen. I think this is such a fun and fabulous way to decorate, especially if you love kind of the shabby chic farmhouse vibe. Now, of course, I did have to go a little bit extra and add some ribbon to the bottom. I'm also covering up where I had pulled that Let It Snow sign lettering off. And if you don't have the snow sign on hand, you can always use any kind of painted board or wood, or you could even just frame this and add some embellishments around your frame. So again, get creative. This is such a fun time to really think outside the box on what you guys already might have. And so I'm just adding some more little burlap rosettes to the base of this. I ended up using 3. I do order my burlap rosettes from burlapfabric.com. There'll be a coupon code for you guys below if you're interested. And then I also have this cute little thankful sign. This is just one of those little silver lettering signs that you get at the Dollar Tree. It came off of another project. I'm repurposing and reusing it and just hot gluing it to the top of this. I feel like I need a daily reminder to be thankful right now. Comment and let me know if you guys are with me on that one. And really, we do have so much to be thankful for. So here it is all together. I'm just loving this, and I'm so thankful for you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing to watch my videos, and thank you for commenting. Please let me know how you're doing. It really just helps warm my heart. It gives me an opportunity also to pray for you all and others as well. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this today's prayer card, and I'm going to go ahead and use one of those little Dollar Tree scrolly mirrors, and I just added some hot glue to the top of the mirror, and then I just added the prayer card inside of that. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Dollar Tree vase and just some of these inexpensive little goodies. I have a bundle of lavender and then a bundle of lamb's ear and some greenery, but use whatever florals you have on hand. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have some little bits and bobs here and there. I'm going to make a really easy floral arrangement. Again, this is kind of going along with my French farmhouse theme. So I just popped it into this glass vase jar, and you guys could stop here. I think it makes a beautiful arrangement, or you could go a little extra and add some burlap or some pretty fabric around your jar just to kind of dress it up. I'm also kind of hiding these stems just a bit because they didn't really match, and so I just thought that would be a fun way to kind of dress this up and give it again a little bit of that French farmhouse theme. So I just hot glued the burlap directly to the glass jar, and then I decided again to go a little extra and add some pretty lace. I forgot about this lace that was in my stash, and so I did just go ahead and hot glue that in and around the center part of my glass vase jar. So here is how everything is looking. I am crushing on this French farmhouse for springtime. It's so fresh and so fabulous, and I have been working on decorating my home, and so I cannot wait to share with you guys some new areas of home decor, just moving things around and rearranging them. And then I had this fun little kind of quote that I found, and it says, "In the darkest times, even small acts of kindness can shine so much light, and in this little flame, our own fears are also killed with kindness." And so I just really want to encourage all of you all to be kind, reach out to one another, leave kind comments, and if you have any prayer requests, again, please leave your prayer requests down below. It gives this community an opportunity to connect with one another and pray with one another. And again, I have to thank you all for being here. It is such a blessing and an honor, and you all just warm my heart. And I just have to give your hearts a hug right now and know that I am with you. We're going to get through this together. And I hope these crafts are bringing you some joy. And I encourage you to keep plugging in those glue guns, keep getting out your glitter and paint. And even if your project isn't perfect, trust me, because sometimes I feel like mine definitely needs some work. Keep going and keep trying. And I just want to tell y'all how much I love y'all. Thank you for being here. So for our crafty decor project for today, we are going to be working on a DIY paint stick blanket ladder. You could also use some rulers or just whatever scrap wood you might have laying around. So to start out this DIY project, I'm going to take several of these paint sticks. You can pick them up at Walmart. You could also use rulers again, or just some scrap wood or doodly dads you might have laying around. I'm going to take this Waverly white chalk paint. I also found this at Walmart, and I'm just going to chalk paint my little paint sticks. And I did end up using 2 coats of chalk paint on each paint stick, and you'll want to let the coat of chalk paint dry about an hour in between. If you wanted more of a rustic look, you could also wood stain these. I'm also taking these 2 old pieces of wood that we found at a thrift store many months ago, and I'm going to use them to go ahead and create the ladder. And I am using E6000 glue. The E6000 glue is going to hold my little paint sticks on here for good. And I'm going to also use some dabs of hot glue, and that will hold it on there temporarily. So I have a lot of questions about why I use both glues. Again, the E6000 will slide around just a bit, so adding that hot glue just really helps it stay on there nice and good while the E6000 dries. So I'm carefully putting them on here, and I also want to let you guys know that I did measure in between to try to get them accurately spaced, but again, this is just a little blanket ladder, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Now I see these out at the home decor stores all the time, and they look so fun and fabulous, and they're really easy to make using paint sticks or rulers, whatever little goodies. I've even seen people make these with more of a rustic flair by using sticks that they have out in their yard. So here it is all finished up. Now I have shared with you all some ways that you can decorate these. Here is my little paint stick ladder decorated with a nice fuzzy blanket. It's still pretty chilly here, so I will tell you that this is a nice thing to have on hand because I keep tons of blankets around. And there's my little faux fireplace. I found this, actually Mr. Romantic found it at the thrift store. I think it was super inexpensive, but they did have them on Black Friday at Walmart. There's another little DIY. It's a Dollar Tree pillow and a little French farmhouse tub that we made in another video. I'll link the I Love Spring playlist down below for you all to go check out to get inspired. But I think this blanket ladder is so fun and fabulous, and again, just a perfect decor piece for your living room or that special little corner that you might want to fill a space with. Now I want to share with you a fun way that you can decorate your little paint stick ladder if you don't want to use it for a blanket. I actually shared this in another DIY video, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and share it with you all again. So I just took this beautiful greenery and I wired it to my little ladder, and then I'm going to add a sign. This sign is from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make a quick little loopy bow here. Super easy. It's an Olivia bow. I'll link my bow video down below for you guys, but you just loop the ribbon over on itself, and then you can pinch it off in the center with a little pipe cleaner. And I'm adding in this burlap ribbon and then also some of that Dollar Tree little Easter egg ribbon, but get creative and use what you all have on hand. You could even take and make this floral with the bunny and the greenery and the bows. If you don't have a paint stick ladder or a ladder to make this on. You could make it on top of a cabinet. You could attach it to a beautiful picture frame. Really, the sky's the limit. I really challenge you guys to share with me on my Facebook group page, Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page, some different ideas that you have for using everything that you already have. And then I did add some little greenery and florals to the bottom of this, as well as some Dollar Tree Easter eggs, just to kind of make a little blooming bouquet. So I thought this was really special. And again, I did share this little mantle floral in another video, and I played around with adding some more little Dollar Tree goodies to this, but I ended up just leaving it kind of more with florals and eggs, and then adding in just this little dab of ribbon, which I thought was really beautiful. Again, I'm making a quick little loopy bow, and then I'm just attaching it with a pipe cleaner to the back of this. Have fun with this, again, you guys, and totally get creative. Easter is just such a wonderful time. It's such a time of hope and joy to look forward to the future. So I'm sharing this with you all to stay busy and just look to the future with hope, and just hopefully some inspiration as well. So again, don't forget to tag me on Instagram in your creations, and also share with me what you're up to on my Facebook group page. You guys just inspire me so much. So here is what the finished product looks like. I just thought it was super fun and fabulous. And the other thing I want to do in this video is just share with you all some scripture. I do have some wonderful DIY projects coming up, but I do have to share with you this scripture. It is Matthew 6:34. It says, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." And then I'm also going to share a prayer with you all, and it says, "Father, sometimes I become exhausted, weary, and overwhelmed with worry, stress, and anxiety for the future. And I pray Matthew 6:34 over my life and over your life as well. And I do not want to worry or be anxious about tomorrow, but instead I want to place my trust in you entirely each and every day. Father, help me remember in times of need that you have always been faithful to provide in any and every situation or challenge. Help me remember that your plans are to prosper me and never to harm me. Father, teach me to meet each day's troubles as they come with grace, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I know your grace is sufficient. You will help me overcome whatever this life may bring. You are so good to me, and I find peace and hope in knowing you will never abandon me, and there is no need to worry about tomorrow. I know you will meet me there. In Jesus' name, amen." I hope this prayer really helped you, and I will be posting this on my social media page if you guys want to have like a copy of this prayer. So I just really hope that this prayer helps you. I hope that these DIYs help you, and I hope this new series helps you for Let's Stay Home, because I think that we can find joy in staying at home and tidying and crafting and cooking and organizing. And so I just want you all to know I'm here for you. I know right now what we're going through is a lot, and whatever you're going through in your life can be a lot, but I am definitely here for you, and I love you so much, and I thank you for stopping by. And I'm going to share a little bit more in this video, some beautiful music to calm you and to bring peace to your soul. To create this DIY mask face covering, I'm using this 16-inch by 16-inch bandana that I found at the Dollar Tree a couple of months ago. I'm going to fold it over on itself. If you don't have the bandana, use whatever fabric you have on hand, whether it be a pillowcase, a t-shirt, or just some cotton fabric that you have in your crafting stash. Then you're going to take 3 coffee filters and layer them on top of each other. You're going to flatten them out and then fold them in half. I found this idea actually on the CDC website, so hopefully a little bit of protection will be better than nothing. I'm then going to trim off the top part of the coffee filter with my scissors and then unfold the coffee filters together. Place them flat on top of your scarf or bandana or whatever fabric you have on hand, and then smooth them out. Once you have that done, you can take and make a fold on each end of your fabric. I'm folding it in, and you're going to kind of smooth it out nice and flat. The next step you want to do is grab whatever elastic bands you have on hand. I have these hair ties that I use in my hair, but today they're going to be used for a face mask. So I'm just going to slip them over each end of the fabric. If you don't have a hair tie, you could use a rubber band. You could even cut the band off the top of your sock that has elastic at the top there. You're then going to take your fabric and fold it over, and then find the inside of your fabric, and you're going to push the other end into the end that you're opening up. So open up one end and push the fabric in. Super easy. Once you have that done, you can use each part of your elastic on either end, slip it over your ears, and that is going to very easily cover your face. It's going to give you a little bit of protection. Again, something is better than nothing. For the next DIY no-sew face mask face covering, I'm just going to use an old long sleeve shirt. This fabric is rather soft, so that's kind of nice, but you guys use whatever fabric that you have on hand. I'm going to measure about 12 inches long on the length of my sleeve. Again, if you're going to be sewing this, you might want to use a 10-inch cut. So it'd be 10 inches long by about 6 inches wide. But I need a little bit more room because I'm going to be hot gluing this, so that's why I'm doing about 12 inches long. I'm going to cut off each end of my sleeve. So I cut it off from the top of my sleeve, and then I cut off the end of my sleeve. I'm then going to create some elastic bands by cutting off the top of a sock. So if you guys don't have a hair tie or hair pony, you can use the end of a sock. I'm then going to just take my hot glue gun, and I'm going to run a strip of hot glue down each end of my sleeve, and just very carefully kind of push down, and I want to make like a little spot where I can run that elastic band through here. Now if you're a sewing person, this would be the spot that you would sew. Also notice that because it's a sleeve, it's 2 pieces of fabric. So if you're making this and you're sewing this, or you don't have a sleeve and you're just using the fabric, you'll want to use 2 pieces of fabric. I'm now going to go ahead and take a safety pin and just take the end of my sock band and use a safety pin to push the sock band through. Now if you have a piece of elastic, that's great. Use elastic. Also a hair tie would work if you wanted to cut a hair tie in half to do this part, but I'm trying to show you guys kind of some different ways to use things that you might already have in your home to create these DIY no-sew face masks. So go ahead and push the elastic all the way through. And for this sock, this was also one of my kids' socks, so it was a little bit of a smaller sock, but I really feel like any bit of elastic will do. So once you have that finished, you can go ahead and remove the safety pin from the end and just fold it over. And then you'll want to take your hot glue gun and add a generous dab of hot glue and just hot glue those ends back together. You'll want to make sure that you press it down for quite some time to get that really good to hold really nicely. And then once it's nice and dry, you can just go ahead and run the elastic band back through to where you have a nice soft edge. That's optional, but just, you know, kind of make it a little bit nicer there. So you can go ahead and test it out, put a little bit of weight, like as much weight against it that you would be using to put it on, and then you'll just want to do the same thing to the other side. So once you have elastic attached to either side of your mask, you can just take those elastic loops and slip them over your ears and you'll have a mask. If you want to go a step further, you could always add a pad or a panty liner to the center of your mask just for a little bit of added protection over your nose. So that hopefully may help you guys out just a little bit, or just use it as is. And there you have it. For the next DIY face mask face covering, we're going to use an old t-shirt to create a quick face mask. So I'm just going to take the t-shirt and I'm going to flatten it out and then measure about 6 to 7 inches from the base of the t-shirt. We're going to create this face mask also without using any kind of elastic or rubber bands. So maybe this will give you guys an idea if you don't happen to have any elastic or rubber bands at your home. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this bottom part of the t-shirt off. So you just cut in a straight line all the way down your t-shirt. Super easy. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you feel like you need a straight line, you know, trace a straight line with a ruler or whatnot, but I just went for it. Again, this is just a quick, easy little face mask here. Okay, so once you have that done, you're going to measure about 7 inches into your t-shirt, and you want to cut a square out of where that 7 inches is. So you're just going to begin to cut about 1 inch out from either side of your t-shirt and cut a square. So basically these little strips that you see are going to be what's going to tie your face mask onto your face. So go ahead and cut that center part of that t-shirt fabric out. You want to leave though long enough to where you guys can tie this onto your face. So this, you can stop here, right here, and just go ahead and cut this off and tie this onto your face. This makes a face mask. I decided to go a little bit step extra and add a pipe cleaner to the top that I can kind of secure and hopefully get to fit better on my nose, and also a pocket to the center to put a coffee filter in, and hopefully that will give me more protection as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a little notch right here where the bottom of my t-shirt was, so it already has a spot where I can run a pipe cleaner through this. So I'm just going to run a pipe cleaner through this bottom part of the t-shirt until I'm all the way to the end, cut another notch, and then just hot glue each end back together. So now I'm just hot gluing each end back together where that little notch was, and that'll keep my pipe cleaner in place. Now I'm going to take that extra square of fabric that we cut out originally, and I'm just going to cut it in half because I just want one piece of fabric going into this face mask. I'm going to create a pocket to slip some coffee filters down into. Again, this is the extra step that I had for an idea of just how to give myself a little bit extra protection. And I'm just going to use my hot glue to create my pocket. So I'm going to hot glue this down one end, and if you guys have a sewing machine, you would probably want to sew this at this point, but hot glue has worked really well for me. I just hand wash it and sanitize it, and it's not hard to do at all, and the hot glue for me holds up really well. You guys could also use a fabric glue if you wanted. Use whatever you all have on hand to make yourself a safety mask. So once I have that finished, here is what the little pocket looks like. I then want to go ahead and take coffee filters. Again, I'm just going to take 3 coffee filters and stack them on top of each other, similar to the first mask that we did. And then once you have those stacked, you can just go ahead and fold them over on themselves. So you just fold it one time, and then you're just going to kind of trim off the top and trim your coffee filters into a square, because they're going to want to fit down inside of your little safety pocket there. And hopefully that is going to give you guys a little bit more protection. Again, this is not an N95 mask. This is just a protective face covering. It's what the CDC is recommending that we're wearing out right now, is some type of protective face covering. So now I'm just going to take the coffee filter and slip it down inside of my little pocket, and then I'm just going to go ahead and tie my face mask on. This face mask was really comfortable. If I were to wear this out though, I would probably put my hair back in a pony and make sure that the face mask did not slip down. You also may want to tie the bottom end first, whatever works for you. But this was an amazing face mask. It was super easy to do, and I used everything that I already had on hand. So comment and let me know which one you will try and how you guys are staying safe. DIY Trash to Treasure makeover project, I'm going to be chalk painting this beautiful mirror that I found at the thrift store. It was $5. I'm going to be chalk painting it white and then distressing it with a bit of antique wax, just to kind of give it a bit of an aged look. I also want to share with you all my homemade chalk paint recipe. So to make homemade chalk paint, I just use 1 cup of regular latex paint. I usually use a flat paint, but I've used honestly whatever paint I have on hand. And then I'm going to take and use about half a cup of baking soda. You can see I'm not measuring it. I've mixed this up multiple times, so I kind of feel like I know the pretty good measurement on it, but if you want to be really precise, it's 1 cup of paint to half a cup of baking soda. Mix very well. Now for this project, I'm actually going to be using this kilned chalk paint that I already had on hand, but if you don't have the chalk paint, don't run out and buy it. Just use that little homemade chalk paint recipe, or save this video for later when you guys can go out and buy some chalk paint. Now this is a resin mirror, meaning it's not real wood, so it's more of a plasticky surface, but I will tell you the chalk paint adhered very well to the actual mirror, and that's one thing I do love about chalk paint is it's not super toxic smell wise, and it also grips to surfaces that maybe have somewhat of a finish on it. I didn't have to sand it, but I did clean it really well with soap and water. I'm just using a regular old Dollar Tree paintbrush, and I'm applying the first coat of the chalk paint. Now the homemade chalk paint, I will tell you, is a bit grainy. I've used it on a ton of projects and it does work, but it is just a little bit grainy. So if you don't really like that, you may want to splurge and go ahead and buy regular chalk paint. But I think that the homemade chalk paint is great as well. For this project, I did have the chalk paint on hand, so I just went ahead and used what I had. But I just wanted to give you guys 2 different options. I also wanted to let you all know that I did end up using 2 coats of chalk paint on this mirror, and I let each coat dry about 2 hours in between. Now I did make a little bit of a mistake. I didn't tape the mirror off, so I was getting a little bit of chalk paint on the mirror, and I know that I can distress in and around the edges pretty easily, so I wasn't super concerned about that. But hindsight is 20/20, and honestly, I probably should have taped the mirror off. So you just take painter's tape and you tape around the mirror. That way you're not painting on top of the mirror. I got the chalk paint off fairly easily, I will tell you, but I did have to use kind of like some muscle work to get it off. So take your time. Don't do what I did. Take your time and tape off your mirror, or if you're impatient like me, paint around it, and then you're going to have to go ahead and do a little bit of scrubbing to get some of that paint off. I hope that helps you guys, just being completely honest and transparent with you about attempting this project and being impatient and then realizing it probably would have helped. But anyway, so now I'm just taking some fine grit sandpaper, and I will tell you I've used all kinds of sandpaper. This is a finer sandpaper, and it had this detail work on it already, so it made it really easy to distress. And when distressing an item to make it look kind of aged, you want to go around the edges quite a bit, the parts of the item that would have shown kind of some worn spots. Now that I have my mirror distressed, I'm going to go in with my little handheld Dyson vacuum here, and I'm just going to vacuum the dust off of my project. There was quite a bit of dust, so I thought using the vacuum might help. You could also just use a wet towel. I'm going to use this wet towel now to finish getting any of the leftover dust before I apply the wax. And I'm just using a little bit of my Mrs. Meyer's cleaner, but you could use any cleaner that has a bit of soap and water. Now, the chalk paint will come off with a wet towel, so that's actually you another way that you can distress this. Now, to get the paint off of the mirror, I went ahead and used a little bit of this scrubby pad with some Mrs. Meyer's cleaner. I think the scrubby pad may have been a little bit too abrasive because I did notice that my mirror was a tiny bit scratched up in the edges, just a little bit. Nothing super noticeable, but just a little side note, use a soft scrubby pad. And now I'm also just going to go ahead and clean my mirror all up. Again, just telling you guys honestly how I went about this and how everything turned out. I did give it a really good cleaning though with a bit of alcohol cleaner. That really is what I love to clean mirrors with and to also shine glassware with. Now I want to go in with this Waverly Antique Wax, and I absolutely love this wax. A little bit goes a long way, so I just dipped this old towel into the wax, and then I'm going to go in and around the little edges. It will give it a bit of a sealant and will also give it that French country flair that I love. You guys can use different waxes. You can use a clear wax, or really this is the first mirror I've ever used wax on. So wax is definitely not a requirement for any kind of, you know, trash to treasure project, but because I had it on hand and I wanted to give it a little bit more of a French country vibe, this is what I decided to go ahead and use. And again, a little bit goes a long way. I dabbed that bit of wax on there and I didn't have to add any more until I got towards the bottom. Here is how my trash to treasure mirror turned out, and even this is rather a large mirror for $5 plus the paint and the wax, which I already have that on hand because I'm constantly doing DIYs and painting things white. I thought it was a really great project. I was super pleased with how it came out. It was a little bit of work, and this also took me 2 days. I didn't do this all in one day because I let the paint dry and did the distressing, and then I came back later and did the wax. But I was super excited for the results. Comment and let me know what you all think. A lot of you all asked me what kind of paint to use, and I do love chalk paint. You can also make homemade chalk paint. You can use regular chalk or regular paint or spray paint. Use whatever right now you have on hand. The other thing is I want to share with you this psalm. It's Psalm 23:3. He restores my soul. And along with the psalm, I would like to share with you a prayer today. And it says, "Let nothing disturb me. Let nothing frighten me. Let nothing take away my peace. May I wait with trust, with patience, knowing you will provide for me. I lack nothing in you. God, you are my strong foundation. You are enough for me." I'm praying this prayer over all of your hearts today, wherever you're at, whatever you're going through. Take this moment and take a deep breath and just pray with me and know that we're all praying for you all and we can all get through this together. So I wanted to share that with you all, and I also want to encourage you all to drop any prayer requests that you might have down below in the comment section of this video. And everyone in this community can kind of help pray for each other, even if it's a blanket prayer, you know, just asking prayer over everyone. But I think it really feels good to get our prayer requests off of our hearts so we don't feel so alone, and so we can take some of that stress and anxiety and put it out there and just know that there's a community there here for you. I'm here for you, and I know everybody in this community is so loving and wonderful. Thank you also for being here for me. I love you all. I also want to share with you a quick and easy pantry recipe dinner that I make for my family all the time. This is one of their favorites. It's 2 cans of Prego spaghetti. I use half a bag of the Italian style meatballs from Walmart, half a container of spaghetti, and I go ahead and I warm up my meatballs in the microwave because they come frozen for about 3.5 minutes, and then I pop them into the pan and I add the spaghetti sauce, and then here are my noodles cooking. And then I just like to usually make some Texas toast and some steamed broccoli to go along with that. This feeds a family of 5 really well with a little bit of leftovers, depending on how hearty of eaters everyone is. I have teenagers, so you guys can imagine that we go through quite a bit of food. But again, you guys can have most of this in your pantry, and then if you don't have the fresh broccoli, you also might have either corn or green beans out of your pantry that you can go ahead and heat up. And the meatballs are nice because it gives it some flavor and just all of that good stuff. So I hope this recipe inspires you to make some kind of delicious pasta for your family, and also just to kind of share what I have going on in my home right now, just cooking out of my pantry. And here's these cute little kitchen towels that I found. Oh my goodness, they're so adorable. I bought those about 2 weeks ago at TJ Maxx, and they're so cute. They really light up my life. You guys also might notice that I have some of the Pioneer Woman collection of her things. Those are so fun. And then I had to share with you all my daughter. She baked a carrot cake for our dessert after dinner, which I shared this recipe with you guys in my last video. Go check out the rest of the Let's Stay Home series if you want to see how I made my delicious homemade carrot cake. She's frosting the carrot cake, and she actually made this all by herself. She did an amazing job. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And if you guys can see, I also have a paint project going on in my dining room. I'm going to share more of that once we get done. And then here's just a photo of us eating dinner as a family. I thought it would warm your heart, and I love y'all. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take a little bunny off of this super adorable Dollar Tree bunny banner. I'm going to remove the tail, and what I want to do is I want to make a cute little buffalo check plaid bunny. So I'm just going to lay this Dollar Tree baby blanket over the little bunny, and I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it to the bunny. Now this is a felt bunny, so it was really pretty easy to hot glue. And I do want to go ahead and make this kind of like a little shabby chic bunny. I've used a lot of buffalo check plaid in this gray color with the pillows in my living room, so I just thought this might be a cute little addition. And so I'm going to go ahead and trim out the bunny. This was fairly easy as well. Make sure that you have a nice sharp pair of scissors. Now that I've cut my little bunny out, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the tail back on. Then I'm going to take some lace from my lace scraps, and I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the lace in and around the little bunny creation that I made. This would also be super cute to do with just the pastel and not adding the extra fabric. But again, I do want to make this kind of a cute little addition to my living room decor. So I went ahead and went with the gray and white buffalo check plaid. And also, if you don't have the little bunny cut out on hand, you could always trace a bunny out or print one out. All you have to do is Google free bunny cutouts, and they have a lot of little different cutout ideas for you all. But just go ahead and begin to glue some lace onto your little bunny, and then once you have that all finished, you can go ahead and add some goodies to that. Now that I have my bunny all finished, I decided to go ahead and take some of this Dollar Tree silky ribbon and just tie a quick little shoelace bow. This is super easy. You just tie a bow like you would be tying your shoelace, and then you're going to go ahead and trim the bow off. And then once you have that done, you can just hot glue that to the neck of your little bunny. Now get creative and use whatever fabrics you have on hand. And I did also go ahead and add a little bit of razzle dazzle bling to the center of my bunny. These were just some little actual snowflake pieces I believe I found at the Dollar Tree over Christmas time. So now is the best time while we're staying at home to dig into your stash and use what you have. So here is my little bunny, all cute and adorable. I think she is so sweet and fabulous and very shabby chic, but with that extra kind of updated buffalo check plaid. And I just want to share with you a quick little Psalm 23:3. He restores my soul. And I have just been praying for all of you, and I'm so thankful that you're here and watching this video. And I just want you to be encouraged, and it really felt good for me to craft and do some of these fun things to share with you all. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm repurposing and reusing this Dollar Tree tray. I found this tray at Dollar Tree and I chalk painted it white a while back. And now I'm just going to repurpose and reuse some of this foam. And I'm going to make a cute little centerpiece. I found this lamb's ear at Walmart. It's $2 for a pack of 2, so it's basically like $1 each, and I'm going to add that to either side of my arrangement and then get creative again and reuse whatever flowers you have. I actually am pulling apart a lot of my floral arrangements, so I'll have new DIYs to share with you all. So I'm taking some of these pink tulips. I had used them to make a wreath with, but I wanted to reuse to share this with you guys, so I'm just adding the tulips in and around the base of my little platter here. And also these tulips did come from Michael's, but Dollar Tree does carry tulips closer to the summertime. But again, just reuse whatever flowers that you already have on hand is my suggestion for this DIY. But I'm using a lot of pretty pink tulips around the base. I thought that would make you all smile. This pretty pink color right now to me is just so soothing, and you guys know me, I love pastels and pink, and during Easter I really feel like it's the most fun time to use all of those beautiful pastels. So I also decided to go ahead and add some hot pink roses, just a couple here at the top. I had these left over in my craft stash. I thought that would give a little bit of dimension to the pale pink tulips, and I really wanted it to feel like spring was springing in this beautiful centerpiece. And I also had to go ahead and add a little bit of moss in and around the spaces that seemed kind of bare in my arrangement. You know, you could also add some greenery or whatnot. The other thing I want to go ahead and do is share with you all a prayer, and this is Matthew 6:34, and it says, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Father, sometimes I become exhausted, weary, and overwhelmed with worry, stress, and anxiety for the future. I pray Matthew 6:34 over my life and over my friends' lives who are listening right now. I do not want to worry or be anxious about tomorrow, but instead I want to place my trust in you entirely each and every day. Father, help me remember in times of need that you have always been faithful to provide in any and every situation or challenge. Help me remember that your plans are to prosper me and never to harm me. Father, teach me to meet each day's troubles as they come with grace, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. I know your grace is sufficient. You will help me overcome whatever this life may bring my way. You are good to me, and I find peace and hope in knowing you will never abandon me. There is no need to worry about tomorrow. I know you will meet me there. In Jesus' name, amen. So for the next DIY, I want to share with you all how I'm going to repurpose and reuse this little salsa jar. I've been actually saving a lot of jars to share different crafts with you all. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off and paint the lid with some flat 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint. You could use pretty much any craft paint for this. This is just what I had on hand. Then once that has dried, I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue and some moss to the base of this. I found the moss at Dollar Tree, but you guys could use grass. You could use any little bits and bobs you might have around. I'm going to take this little Dollar Tree. It's a fake peep. It was on a stick, but it pulls off of the stick really easy. And then I'm going to add a big generous dollop of hot glue. And then I also had some of this little Dollar Tree vase filler. It's just little tiny kind of round looking eggs, but you guys could use little tiny flowers, or again, whatever you have in your craft stash. You could use some little beads or bobs or pearls. Again, just dig in and start using some of the things you guys have. If you're like me, you like to keep a lot of little things that you might think you're going to craft with. So here's my little bunny, and then I'm just going to go ahead and pop the jar on top of this. I also did add a bit of Mod Podge and a layer of glitter to the back of the jar where that sticker label was. You could also use Goo Gun to get your sticker label off. Now this is a Dollar Tree candlestick. I painted it white with that same spray paint, and then I'm just adding some hot glue. And then now I have this adorable little bunny decor piece that was so sweet and easy, and I just used everything that I already had on hand. And also this would be great if you're doing fairy gardens with some of your little ones right now. They could create this kind of little fairy garden, use some of the little fairy garden pieces. Really any miniature that you have laying around, you can make this little craft with, and you don't have to glue it to a candlestick. I just kind of did that because I thought it would look neat for this DIY, but just save your jars. You could even make this craft with a bottle if you had a bottle on hand. So anyway, I just thought that would be a fun one, and this would be a great one to do for really any age and any skill level. Just always make sure you're supervising with the hot glue if you're doing this with little ones. So for the next DIY, I'm going to take this little Happy Easter bunny bag. It was $2 for $1 at Walmart for these cute little bunny bags. And then I'm going to take this leftover blueberry container, and I'm going to cut the top part out of the blueberry container. What I want to do is create a floral arrangement inside of this bag, but I wanted something to keep the bag expanded. That way I don't have to use floral foam, and the bag will kind of stay open. I hope that makes sense. So I just cut the top part out of the blueberry container. Really, you could use any plastic container, and then also a little box would work. So if you have an empty cereal box or oatmeal box, that would help keep a little bit of stability in your bag. So what I want to create is a floral arrangement in this bag. I'm popping these little tulips in, again reusing what I already had on hand. I had pulled apart a tulip wreath. You guys probably saw it, but I just want to have more DIYs to share with you all. So I'm taking again this ribbon and I'm tying a little shoelace bow. This is just kind of an extra step. You guys know I really love to go a little bit extra, and then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue that to the front of this. I did trim it off enough to where you could still see the Happy Easter part, but you guys could get totally creative with this. You could even just use a gift bag that you already have on hand. Maybe you have a pretty gift bag from a gift that somebody gave you. You could just cover if it said birthday on it, and then make a beautiful floral arrangement. This could also go for a basket. You could even take an old purse that's a vintage purse and make a floral arrangement in that. I don't know, there's just so many fun ways you could do a spring Easter floral arrangement, but I had this bag on hand. So again, using what you have, just go ahead and add in some pretty flowers. I did take those purple ones out, and I just added green tulips, yellow tulips, and pink tulips. I did get the tulips at Michael's at the beginning of the season. Dollar Tree will carry tulips. I think some of them already have their tulips out from what I've seen online. And then here it is mixed in here with this beautiful, happy springtime arrangement. I just had to bring you all some color. These soft pastels do so much to just soothe my soul. And of course, I do love the pastel aesthetic, but my hope is that this video will make your heart smile and help you move into decorating for spring and Easter. Again, looking forward to the future with so much hope and so much joy in our hearts. As we go through this, we stay at home together, we join together and pray for one another and love on one another and call and text each other, send each other messages, letters, doing whatever we can to just really encourage and support and uplift one another. For the next DIY, I'm going to take this cute little adorable Dollar Tree frame and this Dollar Tree egg. This Dollar Tree egg was from a sign that I had just pulled apart. You guys probably saw that in my mantle decor video. I'm using some double-sided sticky tape. I don't want to ruin the frame by hot gluing on it, so I'm just taping the little egg on. Now, I did have a bit of a craft fail and did end up having to use a little bit of hot glue on this, but I think it'll come off fine with a bit of sandpaper, and I'll probably reuse it and repurpose it anyway. But for those of you that just need an easy, quick craft to do, you could do this with your kiddos on any frame really that you have laying around. You could just add some quick little eggs and just make some fun Easter decor. I know sometimes I don't have the thought process to sit down and do really hard DIY, so I thought I'd bring you guys a super fun and easy one. For the next DIY, I'm going to take this globe that I found at the thrift store and this thrift store plate, and I'm going to take some of those Dollar Tree speckled eggs and then some of the Dollar Tree oversized eggs, and I'm just going to go ahead and begin to add them to this hurricane. So I added some of the speckled eggs first, and this is some of that Dollar Tree. It's vase filler is what they call it, and then I'm adding in this large jumbo oversized egg. I just want to add a bunch of eggs again and create a super easy, just little fun Easter decor piece. You guys can get creative and happy with this one. Use whatever eggs that you have on hand. And I did need a little bit more of the vase filler. It's floating around in the bottom of one of my craft bags, so it's going to take a while for me to collect all of it. I didn't bag it beforehand, but anyway, I'm just adding in all of these fun little eggs for a bright little happy shiny Easter decor. And again, this is a really easy one. You don't have to have a lot of supplies to do this. You could use any kind of glass vase, any kind of bits and bobs of eggs or pearls or whatnot. So for the next part of this DIY, I'm going to go ahead and make a really large Olivia bow, and I'm starting with a 14-inch piece. Now this is a bow that I made previously, but I want to share it with you all. I'm going to take the ribbon and loop it over on itself. I'm going to do that about 4 to 6 times depending upon the amount of ribbon that you have. For this one I only used 4 loops, but if you're making a big wreath bow, you probably want to do 6 loops. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just add a tiny little notch, cut a tiny little bitty notch in the center of this, and then you can go ahead and use your pipe cleaner, and the knot will help your pipe cleaner hang on to that bow better and allow you to fluff it without the loops falling apart. So I'm adding it to the center part of this, and again it was 14 inches for the first piece. And you also might want to measure your bow for the size of your project. So if it was a smaller project, you're going to need to do, smaller measurements. So now for the next ribbon loop, I'm going to to do 12 inches long, and then I'm going to do 4 loops. This is going to be that Dollar Tree Happy Easter ribbon. In fact, all of this ribbon that I'm using for this bow is from the Dollar Tree. Again, I'm going to just take it and find my center and notch each side. This is what I call the Olivia bow, simply because it'll be a good reference point for you guys to come back to know which bow we're making. We make this bow over and over and over. So many of you will have tried it. I developed this bow because I can't make a bow, honestly, to save my life. So I figured out how to do this bow, and I just had to share it with you guys. And thank you for all of you that are sharing over on my Facebook group page and on Instagram. I love seeing your projects, and I'm so proud of everybody. Everybody's bows look amazing, and practice makes perfect. I know sometimes mine come out really great and sometimes not so great. So don't give up, just keep trying. So again, I made another little loopy bow here, and this one was 10 inches long. You just take it and go 4 inches, or you go 4 times over on itself. And I will leave a bow recipe down below. It gives you a really in-depth Olivia bow tutorial. It's from my Christmas bows, but it's still the same method. So just give your bow a nice and tidy fluffy now. Now this is the key to a fabulous, amazing bow, is you want to fluffy duffy it out really well. And then I'm just going to take and fold my little end over here and dovetail it by taking my scissors and just cutting in an upwards direction. Now be careful if you're cutting upwards, you're going to cut that little triangle. It's going to give you a nice little finished edge, but do be careful when you're cutting. My scissors aren't that sharp, and thankfully I've never cut myself, but just because you're using scissors, just always be careful. And so here it is, all fun and fabulous and ready to go on my little DIY hurricane vase. And again, I'm repurposing and reusing. The ways that I store my bows, if I take them off of a project, is I take a little push pin and I'll just push pin them to the wall inside of my craft closet. That way they stay nice and fluffy. So that's just a little side note for you all. And so here it is with the bow added. Now this is very over the top, definitely my style, but if you don't like over the top, leave the bow off or make a smaller bow. But I just thought it made like a fun little centerpiece without using the flowers. Just another idea for you guys to decorate, use what you have on hand, and have fun, again, crafting and creating. I always ask that you let me know which is your favorite project in this video, and which one might you have some supplies on hand to recreate. Again, I'm not going out to shop for any crafting supplies right now, so if you don't have the items on hand right now, just save this video for a later date. I'm encouraging everybody to stay at home and just stay peaceful and calm, and I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos. It means a lot, and we're going to get through this, and I love y'all so much. this DIY, I want to create a 3-tiered cake stand using some vintage plates and also these little Dollar Tree painted candlesticks. So they come clear, and I had already painted them before I started this project. And then I'm just going to take some E6000 glue, and I'm going to run the E6000 glue along the top of the candlestick, and that's going to make a permanent hold. But to get it to temporarily hold while the E6000 glue dries, I'm going to add just a little dab of hot glue in and around the same space as the E6000 glue. E6000 glue does have a tendency to slide around, so that hot glue really helps it stay into place. Now I want to go ahead and add my second tier, and again I'm going to run the E6000 glue around the entire rim of the base of this candlestick, and then I'm going to add some hot glue to just give it that temporary hold. And you can just kind of run it in and around the same space that you're running the E6000 glue. It doesn't have to be perfect, it will stick on fairly well. Then you go ahead and add your second tier. So here's the 2 tiers that we have. Now I'm reusing this from another project. So I had previously glued the candlestick to the top part of my dessert server. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the E6000 hot glue trick one more time, and that's going to give me my 3rd tier for my little cake plate. Again, repurpose and reuse whatever you have in your stash, whatever kind of little plates you might have on hand. They don't have to look like mine. Use what you all have and make it beautiful, and just go for it. I wanted to actually use a rose plate at the top of this, but that's okay. So anyway, and I even added a little cupcake stand to the top of this. Now I didn't glue my cupcake stand on, and originally I had found the cupcake stand several years ago at TJ Maxx. It's so cute, and I think it looks absolutely perfect in with this little Easter dessert surprise. My son's girlfriend brought over some Easter cupcakes. It was so sweet and thoughtful of her, and so you can see that little bunny cupcake down there at the bottom. So let me know what your plans are for Easter. We're just going to have our little get together with our family right here in our home, and just have fun with that. And I also wanted to pop in this beautiful little star ornament, actually cross ornament. This was an ornament that I had left over from Christmas, but I had left it out because I knew I wanted to use it for Easter. So for the next DIY, I want to take this little Dollar Tree box, and it's really actually a really cute little box. It's just like a little cardboard gift box, but you could use any box you have on hand. I want to dress up the top of it and kind of customize it to fit in with my little Easter theme. So I'm just going to hot glue some burlap to the top of this. Now you can find burlap, or you can also use whatever fabric you might have in your stash. This is really a time to get really creative, dig into your pretty fabrics, and repurpose and reuse something. You can even use an old pillow cloth or pillowcase that maybe has a stain, or just anything that you have kind of tucked away. Now I'm going to take this pretty lace. It's just a vintage lace that I found at the thrift store many moons ago, and I'm going to add it in and around to kind of trim out the top of this little box. I just wanted to make a really sweet little keepsake box. These are great to put little knickknacks in, or you could even make it to put make it into like a memory box, maybe your Easter memories, maybe some little jewels that you might have on hand. You could also use it to put some extra makeup in, or just whatever little bits and bobs you want to have to store in your home. So I'm just trimming it out with this pretty lace. I just hot glued all the way around the burlap and then added the lace, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim that part off. So here is how it looks once I have added the burlap and the lace. Now I dug into my stash and found this cute little Easter card. It was just like a little mini card, these 2 little bunnies. I almost felt like this would also make a sweet Mother's Day box. My mom loves bunnies, so this would definitely be perfect for her. It's also perfect because she loves the color purple, so this might, hopefully mom doesn't watch this, hopefully, but this might be headed your way, mom. So now I'm just going to trim out the little bunnies with some more lace. I just thought this would be really sweet. Just use what you guys have on hand. You don't have to get this fancy with it, but I just thought it would be fun to really doll it up and make it look kind of what I call to be shabby vintage chic. you know, just having fun with lots of trims and frills. It kind of brought a smile to my face to do something a lot of girly. And then I had this little wooden heart left over for some Valentine's crafting, so I added a little wooden heart to the base of this. And then I just wanted to tie a really quick little easy shoelace bow. This is some satin ribbon that I have in my stash from Dollar Tree. So a shoelace bow, when you tie that, is just a bow like you would tie when you're tying your shoelaces. It's super easy to do. And then I'm just going to trim off the edges of that. You can also take a lighter and heat seal your ends. Just, you know, add just a tiny bit of heat to those ends, or clear nail polish will also keep the ends of any ribbon that's satin ribbon from fraying. So I love these jewels from totallydazzled.com. I'm going to leave a link for you guys down below, but they sell jewels in a pack for about $1.50 each. And if you guys have price check jewels, you'll know that they can be a bit pricey. And if you're just using what you have on hand, you could also use some junk jewelry, maybe a brooch or just something that doesn't have, maybe an earring that doesn't have its other piece. So here it is, that little bunny all tucked in to the little setting. It could have a beautiful card inside for a loved one, or just a little keepsake box, or even just a little knick-knack box. I hope y'all are enjoying this setting. Now for the next DIY, this is a trash to treasure DIY using also some Dollar Tree items, but I found this really cool inside garden jar idea on the Anthropologie website. They used moss stones, and so I'm whipping out my moss garden stones. I found these at Dollar Tree at the beginning of the season, but you guys could use any kind of little moss or grass or even some little green leaves from outside and create a beautiful little indoor garden. So I'm popping the moss stones in, and then here's some succulents that I had. These are fake succulents. Dollar Tree also carries these, but again, use what you have on hand. And then these little beads I found at Dollar General a while back, so I cut them apart. And the Anthropologie one had you using just some greenery, so I chose these succulents and I'm popping them on top of my moss stones. And then they had added some beads and also some pretty little flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the beads in here. I had added the succulents, and then I'm just popping the beads in. And then I also used the scissors to kind of move things around where I wanted them to be. But I think this is really a really fun project, and you can do this with any age, making this little indoor garden. Maybe it's too cold still for you all to get outside. I know we had a freeze warning last night, but it's actually been really nice where I'm at. So thankful for that. But you could do this inside with your kiddos or your grandkids, or just make one for yourself. I just felt like this nice bit of spring was so fresh and fun. I painted the top of the lid gold. That's how they did on the Anthropologie one. And then I thought it made this kind of just cute little springtime floral. You could also bedazzle the top of it if you wanted to just really dress it up. For the next DIY, I'm going to take this little Dollar Tree Hello Gorgeous plate, and again, I'm going to use some of those jewels from totallydazzled.com. Go check them out. Natalie has the most beautiful little jewels, and she is such a sweetheart and such a great deal on them too. So I'm just going to take the E6000 glue. Now these came as brooches, but I just went ahead and used my wire cutters and I just clipped the brooch back off really easy. I'm adding E6000 glue and the hot glue. Again, that E6000 glue will give you a permanent hold, and the hot glue will hold your item on temporarily, so it gives that E6000 glue time to dry, because the E6000 glue does need about 24 to 48 hours before it's really good and dry on there. Now I'm using a second jewel for this, and I actually had given one of these similar to my son's girlfriend, and she said that she uses hers to put her toothbrush in. I hadn't had a chance to bedazzle hers. Mine's actually actually probably gonna go in my little beauty space and I'll put maybe a little lip gloss or lipstick on it. But I think this is so sweet. Hello, gorgeous, bedazzled. Of course, you guys could go all the way around the rim, but this is such a fun and quick little easy craft. Again, think about maybe some of the junk jewelry that you might have in your stash. I went ahead and popped this cute little wooden bunny on top just to show you guys how cute it could look in just a regular everyday vignette. So it could kind of have multi-purposes. If you didn't want the Hello Gorgeous, you could just pop something on top of that. So look around and see what kind of little plates you guys have that you could add some jewels to, just to glam things up and bring a smile to your face. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to take this white Dollar Tree coffee mug. Again, had this in my stash for weeks now. And I also had this little lettering in my stash. It says, always be joyful. But I wanted to just take the joyful part off and use that. So I decided to go ahead and pull this off. They have these stickers at Dollar Tree. It was a little tricky to get the sticker off at first, but very carefully just kind of pull your sticker off. And then I just laid it over on this cup. Now this cup is not going to be used for drinking. I want to keep it in my little crafting studio to keep my scissors and pens and just all my goodies that need to stand upright. And I thought the joyful wording would be really nice for just a reminder to stay joyful. So if you don't have access to this lettering, you could also go online and maybe make out a little joyful print and then Mod Podge that to the side of something, or you could print out a joyful, or if you're really good at lettering, you could also write this in Sharpie and kind of decorate it and make it really pretty and crafty if you have just like a plain white mug, or you could do this on the side of a vase. Remember, you guys, get creative now. This is our time to really think outside the box and have fun, using our creative minds to craft with and stay positive and joyful. And I hope this video is bringing you all joy. I had so much fun making it for you, and I tried to make some easy crafts that you could hopefully replicate and duplicate at home using items that you already have. Now for the next DIY, this is a little Dollar Tree planner. It says Planner's Gonna Plan, and it's really super cute. Great if that's how you want to leave it, but I decided I wanted to make kind of like a little junk journal with it, and so I just pulled the front off and I'm going to recover it. Again, this is a fun idea to recover any kind of little notebook that you might have laying around. So I'm just adding hot glue to the front, and then I'm going to add an overlay of burlap fabric. I had this left over from Christmas. This was what I used to decorate my Christmas tree. It's been in my stash, so I'm just going to hot glue the little burlap ribbon on here and then trim off the top. This is going to be so fun, and what I love about doing these junk journals is you guys can really dig into your stash. I know if you're a crafter like me, you really probably have a lot more supplies than you want to admit. Comment and let me know if you guys are right there with me. You really have some little goodies laying around that you could make and have fun with, and use glue or glitter or just whatever fun goodies that you have. So I went ahead and added the burlap to the front and the back of this little journal, and then I whipped out my little lace here, and then I'm just going to trim out this journal with some really pretty lace. I'm adding hot glue down the edge and then just pressing it down on top of the burlap. I also had this strip of burlap with lace. This is a larger strip ribbon, so I think this is fun to kind of add to the edge to cover where that brightly colored lettering was. I want to make it kind of French shabby chic, and so there you have it. I added that strip to the front.
You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you. Ooh, ooh, you, ooh, ooh. as we hold each other tight. You're the rose in a garden, and it shows if I'm honest. You're the leaves in mid-August, and I've come out here to say that I love you.
So as you guys can see, I went ahead and trimmed out the front and the back of this little junk journal in the same way, with the same little fabrics. That way they're a little bit more cohesive. Just for this project, I had enough supplies to do that. So here is what everything looks like. Be careful not to hot glue your pages together. I did almost accidentally do that. Now I'm taking this little heart doily. I had this left over from some of my Valentine's Day decor. Again, found it in my stash. And I'm just going to cut it in half. I want to use one side on the front and one side on the back. I haven't done a whole lot of these little journals before, but every time I do them, I'm just reminded of how much fun it is just to craft away and how relaxing it is. And I always admire people that do these more kind of really neat little paper crafts and kind of junk journal crafts. And I'm not even for sure if this is what a junk journal is, but it just seems like what I would call it. So if you guys are really into paper crafting or making these pretty little junk journals, let me know. How am I doing here? Anyway, I did go ahead and just hot glue the doily on. It might have been better too had I Mod Podged it, but it seemed to go on there okay. Just be careful if you're hot gluing a doily because the glue will come through. Now you guys can see my heart is just a little lopsided. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm always crafting upside down and somewhat backwards. So anyway, I decided to add some pearl trimming to the front or the edge of this little journal just to give it a little bit of texture and dimension. And I've had these pearls in my craft stash again for a while and just haven't had a chance to really use them. So I'm going to take some of this satin ribbon because I think the way that I do my journals is I like to kind of cover up any of the loose edges. So I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm going to wind it in and around some of these loose edges by hot gluing the ribbon and then kind of ruching it backwards and then hot gluing and then ruching it backwards. That gives it kind of that spirally ribbon effect that I'm going for. The next thing I want to do to the inside of my little journal is add a little ribbon tab. That way it's really easy and pretty also just to open my journal. Just open it up really easy with the little satin ribbon tab. So I'm hot gluing the satin ribbon here and then I'm going to twist it backwards and hot glue it again, and that'll give me my pretty little tab. You can also even add a pretty piece of ribbon to go around the journal. That way whoever it's gifted to could tie it up together. And I am giving this to my son's girlfriend. I thought she would like this and hopefully she can use it to write some notes in. She's a senior as well this year, and I know that has hit our seniors particularly hard, and so I just wanted to surprise her and brighten up her day. So again, I'm using one of those little totallydazzle.com jewels. Oh my goodness, I just love these. They are so wonderful. Again, I'll leave that link for you guys down below if you want to order any of them. And then I found this. It says True Love on it, and it was just a Dollar Tree sticker. It's one of those pop-up sticker kind of things that has a raised edge and a little bit of glitter. And then I'm just reusing a little pink heart that I had left over from Valentine's Day. So I just thought this was really a romantic journal, and I know that she has kind of a little romantic heart and she's really such a sweetheart. So I'm really just hoping that she'll be able to use this, and if anything she can use it as a little decor piece and it'll bring a smile to her face. As always, I ask that you all comment and let me know what is your favorite DIY in this video. And if you're crafting along with me and crafting from your stash, what are you currently working on? What are you inspired to create? What is helping get you through this current time? I also want to share an Easter blessing with you. May the resurrection of our Savior be a constant reminder of his love and promise of eternal life. I want to thank you all for being here. It is such a blessing and an honor. I hope that you will look forward to the future with joy. I know that right now is a really bit of a roller coaster time. It's up and down for everybody, and I think it's okay to feel that way. We have a lot of hope and joy to look forward to the future, and I just want to hug all of your hearts so tight and know that I'm praying for you, and please don't hesitate to drop a prayer request below. Thank y'all. It means so much to have you here. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take these Valentine's Day love signs. I had picked up a couple of extra of them during Valentine's Day, and I just popped the little tin hearts off. And now I'm going to take this Kilns chalk paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and chalk paint the front of the love sign. I want to end up connecting both of them to make a larger sign. Now, I will tell you that it did take about 3 coats of paint, and I waited about 30 to 45 minutes between each coat. Once I had my sign painted white, I decided to hot glue some popsicle sticks to the back to actually connect the 2 pieces to make it the larger sign. Now I'm just going to take these 2 Dollar Tree frames. They're a really pretty scrolly frame, and they originally came with mirrors in them, but I popped the mirrors out and I'm using some of my family photos to put into the frames. I want to create kind of a really cool, more modern farmhouse look with this. I know I've been seeing that pops of black are kind of an accent trend right now, so to get on trend, I decided to use some black frames in with my decor. And once I had them popped in here, all I did was just go ahead and add some hot glue to each corner, a big pretty generous dollop, and then I popped it onto the front of this sign. Now I may end up taking this sign apart, but if I was going to leave it put together, I would probably add some E6000. That way the photo frames didn't have a chance to move around. But again, I'll probably change the pictures out so they'll be really easy to kind of just pop off if I change my mind on what pictures we're going to be displaying, or if I want to do a different DIY with this painted white board. But for now, it's perfect for my mantle, so I just added it to my mantle, and then I added this beautiful lemon decor, and I'm going to share with you guys how I created this fun, fresh lemon mantle in this video. And actually, my son's girlfriend and my daughter helped me kind of create some of it too. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to create a really cute little throw pillow using this Dollar Tree. It's just like a kitchen towel. That's what I'm trying to say. This is going to be a no-sew kitchen towel pillow. So I had some extra white fabric, and I just flipped my kitchen towel over on top of the white fabric, and then I'm going to hot glue each seam so you guys can see that I'm just hot gluing each seam. Now this is going to be a throw pillow, so it's just going to sit out as more of a decor piece. I'm not worried about trying to wash it. I have washed hot glue though, no problem. You just wash with cold water. So anyway, I'm just hot gluing all the edges of the pillow using my little hot glue gun, and then I'm going to stuff the pillow. Now make sure that when you're creating these no-sew throw pillows that you face the fabric inside that you want to eventually have facing outside, because you're going to take it and you're going to turn it inside out. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Now I'm just going to trim off the excess fabric. The white fabric fabric was stretchy, and so I gave just a little bit of edging on the ends in case the fabric wanted to move around on me. Now, normally when I do these no-sew pillows, I do just go ahead and leave that end open. It makes it a little bit easier to close up, but I got busy here and just kind of forgot. I'm going to go ahead and stuff it with some pillow stuffing that I had left over from another decorative throw pillow, and then see, I kind of left this end open here. I'm going to begin to close it up by just folding each end under and then hot gluing the seams together. This is probably the trickiest part. Again, you want to do this on the shortest end. I wasn't paying attention. I left the longest end to have to hot glue, so I made a little bit too much work for myself here. But this part, you just have to go kind of really slow, pinch those ends together, and be very patient and try not to burn yourself.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin.
Now here is what my pillow looked like after I got done with a little hot gluing. I did get this tea towel at Dollar Tree, but use whatever pretty fabrics that you have on hand, or little tea towels, or just anything that is going to brighten your day. So here it is popped in also with the little lemon decor. How fun and fabulous, and it just really brought a smile to all of our faces just to have this sunshiny lemon happiness, I guess is what you would call it. Just a dab of happiness in our day. I am hoping to get some yellow and white buffalo check plaid pillows, but we'll have to save that one for a rainy day. Right now, I'm just going to be content with using what I have. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these Dollar Tree lemons, and I have this little stem. It's actually one of the Dollar Tree cotton stems, but you can take the lemons and you can just remove the bottoms and hot glue the bottom of the lemon and then pop them on to the branch of your stem. So Pier 1 Imports sells these, and they're super expensive. I'm not quite for sure why, but they are. And if you guys don't have any lemons on hand, don't go out and buy them. You can order these off Amazon. I'll link some in my Amazon store for you guys to go check out down in the description box below, or you can just type in Amazon, or maybe even Walmart, I think, carries decorative lemons. So now I'm just going to take a little Dollar Tree greenery garland, and I'm going to attach it to the bottom, and I'm just going to wind it in and around the lemon. And I actually showed this DIY to you guys a couple of months back, so if you already have this on hand, this is that little lemon branch that we created, and I'm just going to use this in my garland. So you don't necessarily really have to make this branch, but I just wanted to share it with you guys in case you did have some fake fruit. You could also use apples or whatever goodies you guys have on hand that you may want to decorate with. I did end up adding one more Dollar Tree greenery garland. I picked these greenery garlands up last season, I believe, but they're a little bit sparse, so that's why I went ahead and just added two. So to create this beautiful mantle garland, I went ahead and used a garland of greenery that I found at Michael's. It was a couple of months back at the beginning of the spring season, and then I'm just going to pop my little lemon decor piece into the front of this. You guys know me, I do like to get pretty creative with my florals, so I continued to add in some more lemons. I had created two of those lemon branches, and then I had some of this lime green greenery that I went ahead and popped into it just to kind of offset the darker greenery and kind of lighten things up. Again, I'm using everything that I already have on hand, and if you need greenery, Amazon definitely has some really great deals on greenery. So here it is after I popped in the lime green greenery and then the little greenery cascading down the side. It really made my heart sparkle and shine, and I hope it's bringing a ray of sunshine to your face as well in your day. So here it is. Oh my goodness, I think it's really cute with the little sign that I made. with the kiddos' pictures and all of that goodies mixed in with the gray and white and the lemons.
Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has a clear light as any to see the horizon and the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a wreck. Tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow.
So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm just taking this Dollar Tree margarita glass and I had flipped it over, and I'm adding some E6000 glue and some hot glue and then popping my little Dollar Tree vase onto the top of that. The next thing I wanted to do was take some Kilns paint and chalk paint the glass. So I'm just sharing this one with you guys again so you kind of know how to put this vase together. If you don't have the margarita glass, you could use a candlestick or kind of anything you might have on hand that you could top a vase with. Get really creative and just have fun with it. So now I'm going to take and create a floral in this. I just popped some floral foam down into this, and I'm going to go ahead and create more of a French farmhouse floral. So I'm using some of this greenery. I had picked this up a while back at Walmart. I believe it was about $3 a bundle, or maybe it was $3 on one stem. I can't really remember, but I'm taking 2 of those stems and I'm popping them into either side of my little vase. So usually when I create a floral arrangement, I really want to use my greenery first. Now Walmart also carries this long stem of lavender, and I had found this a while back as well, but I'm just going to go ahead and pop that into the center part of the vase and really use whatever florals you have on hand. Walmart also carries some of this 99-cent lavender, which is really nice. So I'm just going to add this in to the bottom part of this. Now this was a little bit long on the stem. I wasn't quite for sure about it, but it's going to make a statement. It's going to be more of a statement piece in my entryway. So I went ahead and went kind of big and over the top, but more subtle with my colors, if that makes sense. So just keep playing with your florals. I did have to play with this one quite a bit to get it exactly where I wanted, and it was a little bit of trial and error. I popped some more of the lavender in the back, and I believe I might have said that this was lilac earlier. It was lavender. So anyway, and then I just added in some of that lamb's ear. Walmart has a great deal on lamb's ear. When you guys get to go back out, check that out. Again, I had bought all of this at the beginning of the season. So I'm also adding in some Dollar Tree cotton stems. I ended up taking those out, but once I rewatched the video, I kind of liked how they looked. It mixed that white in, so I may go back in and pop those in. But here it is, and you guys can see it's kind of a little bit large and wild, but it makes more of a statement piece at this entryway table. Comment and let me know what you guys think. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to do a no-sew pillow, and I'm going to cover this older white pillow that I had. I'm just going to use this Dollar Tree baby blanket. So I measured this one to create this, and I just went ahead and used the same technique using the hot glue and just hot gluing the entire pillow all the way around until I got to the end. And then this was just more of a pillow covering. Instead of stuffing this, I'm just covering an old pillow. So I hope that gives you guys some ideas and some hopes for covering one of your old pillows.
I would be up waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you.
And then once you get to the end, you can just go ahead and pinch those seams together. And again, this is probably the most tedious part, is getting those seams together, but you can just kind of pinch them together and then roll them in. And you want to work kind of slowly in small segments. I know I've gotten impatient before and done a little bit too much and then got a little bit irritated with it, but it comes out fairly nice, and they are nice and soft, really, with those Dollar Tree baby blankets. The seam on the edge of the glue can be a little bit, you know, tough, but it's usually only on that one side that you have to kind of pinch together. So I think they come out really fun. And again, it's a great way really to change up your decor without breaking the bank and without actually spending any money when you already have all that on hand. So the other thing I wanted to share with you guys was how to make a cute little tassel for your little Dollar Tree pillow. So you can take some of the Dollar Tree fabric that you had left over, fold it over on itself several times, and then just cut that fabric into strips. And this is going to create a tassel kind of like in that pillow that I shared with you guys. It was also from the Pier 1 website where they had fringe kind of coming down it. Well, we're not exactly going to make the fringe, but I thought tassels might be super cute. So go ahead and cut your little strips here, and then you can just cut a piece of Dollar Tree twine or whatever, you know, ribbon or goodies that you have on hand. You can just tie that off, and then you can even take your twine and roll it on your fingers to make a bit more of a tassel, which is kind of what I did. Kind of wanted to go for more of that like anthropology look, I guess. And then I went ahead and put that into the center of this and tied that on. It almost made like a little tassel rosette. And then if you want to make it even more tassel-y, you can go ahead and trim those edges apart, and that's going to kind of fray it out. So I just double knotted it here, and then you can take your scissors and just pop in, see where that little end is, and then just trim those apart, and you have your cute little tassel. So this was so fun, and this is a great project actually that you could do with kiddos. You could even make little Christmas ornaments like this. And to finish it off, I did just tie one of the little loops on to the center of that. Super easy and not hard at all. So make sure also that your scissors are fairly sharp so you can get a good easy cut on your fabric.
Cause a love like this is rare, and I wanna take you there. I would give it all away to do it all again. Make our love a story that would never end. Never thought I'd feel so alive looking in your eyes.
Now to put these tassels on, I did use kind of a thick piece of string, and I just went in with a needle and I just knitted them on. That way they stayed on really nice and fluffy, and oh so perfect for this fun little throw pillow. Again, these pillows are kind of just more fun decorative throw pillows. I usually just spot clean them. I use them for about a season, and then I'll redo them with some different fabrics. So not a whole lot of worry on whether or not you need to really wash them. Unless you're going to be using them, then you'd probably want to sew them and add maybe a button button or, you know, some type of Velcro or whatnot. And I hope that helps with all of this. And I hope you guys are really enjoying these DIYs and just having some inspiration for looking forward to the future with so much joy. I know this has been somewhat of a time of ups and downs for all of us. I know there are days when I feel really excited and happy, and it seems like the mood can just change quickly, and I can feel worried and anxious, but I just want you guys to know that I love you so much, and I'm praying for you all. And I just know that we're all in this together, and I really feel like things are going to start shaping up very soon. So I hope everybody is well. I would love for you to drop a comment below and let me know how you're doing. Also, it helps me know which one was your favorite DIY. I always ask you guys that because I love to have your feedback so I know what everybody's interested in.
So I have to share with you guys my bargain shopper outfit of the day. I just have this cute little cover up. This is from Cupshe and I have worn it so much. I'll leave a link for you guys down below, and this is just a little $2 tank top from Walmart. I have my little earrings. These are from TJ Maxx. They were also on clearance. And then my little comfy Crocs, and then these jeans are from Old Navy. So there you guys have it, my bargain shopper outfit of
To make these DIY bleach disinfectant wipes, I want to go ahead and take a roll of paper towels in a seal tight container, and then I'm just measuring to the top of my container. And then I'm going to take a serrated bread knife and cut the paper towel apart. The paper towel did fray on me just a little bit, so I just took some scissors and kind of trimmed that frayed edge off, and then I popped my paper towels down inside of my seal tight container. The next thing I did was go ahead and mix up my bleach solution. It's 1 cup water to about half a tablespoon of bleach. Don't ever mix anything else with your bleach except for your water. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix that up really well, and then I'm just going to take my cup and I'm going to pour this all over my paper towel. So you just take your cup and you're going to pour it all around your paper towel, and it will continue to absorb as it sits in the container a little bit longer. This was so easy and such a great way to make some wipes when I know all the wipes are sold out in stores and I still want to keep my home nice and sanitized. I'm then going to pull the center part of that cardboard roll out of the paper towel and then pull out one of my little wipes and just go ahead and sanitize my space here. And I'm also even going to sanitize my little container. I don't know if you guys are like me, but right now I'm just trying to keep everything nice and clean. I then took some of these Dollar Tree labels, and I wanted to make sure that everybody in the household knew that these were bleach wipes, because of course bleach can, you know, stain clothing or different things like that. So you definitely want to label your little DIY bleach wipes, but there you guys have it. To make my DIY hand sanitizer, I'm going to take and I'm going to mix up 1/3 cup of the aloe vera gel. I also recommend grabbing a spatula because the aloe vera gel did kind of stick to my measuring spoon. And then I'm going to add 2/3 cup of rubbing alcohol. I'm using the 90% rubbing alcohol, and then I'm going to go ahead and just mix that together really well. Now in our home, we are out of the hand sanitizer, and you can't find it anywhere in stores, and my husband still has to go out and work some, so I know this probably isn't the perfect measurement, and it also does not replace washing your hands. I recommend washing your hands for 20 seconds thoroughly, and that is definitely the best option. But if you have to go out and about, you do want to have some sort of protection, so I felt like this hand sanitizer would at least protect us a little bit. I also added a couple of drops of some lemon essential oil just to give it a little bit of a nice fragrance. I then poured it back into my measuring cup, and you see my spatula making sure we got everything out. I'm telling you guys, I just make sure my husband leaves every day with a bottle of some hand sanitizer. I guess maybe it just makes me even feel a little bit better about him having to be out for his job. So then I'm going to take these little Dollar Tree bottles, and I'm just going to go ahead and begin to fill them. Now this mixture filled up 3 of my little Dollar Tree Tree bottles. You can find these empty bottles at Dollar Tree. I filled up 3 of these little bottles, and then also the little bottles that we were able to find, I think at some convenient marts before everything just completely sold out so quickly. So we were only able to get a little bit of hand sanitizer, but again, it is just probably some peace of mind and a little bit of protection if you have to be out there. So I know a lot of you all may have some aloe vera gel in your cabinet from the summer, and also some rubbing alcohol. So hopefully this gives you guys an idea. Now I want to make a little station to set at the front of my door. So I created some DIY no-sew face masks. I'm going to link that video for you guys down below if you don't have a sewing machine. I created several different ideas for you guys using everything that you already have on hand. I'm going to put them into a bag. They're nice and clean and sanitized, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab some of these gloves, and I'm going to put them into a Ziploc bag. What I want to do is just create a little bag and set it by the front door, so when my husband leaves, he can grab a pair of gloves and a face mask or face covering, and also the bleach wipes are great to use to wipe the bottom of your shoes, and then some hand sanitizer. So this, I'm going to label everything, that way everybody knows what's in what and where everything goes. Also, I make sure to wash my mask or face coverings and sanitize those before they go back into the bag. And we also need to have gloves on as we're handling everything. This is just hopefully helping us stay the maximum healthy if we do, and protected if we do have to go out and about. So I hope this helps you guys and gives you guys some positive ideas to stay clean and stay healthy. Now for the next DIY, I want to take this Dollar Tree mirrored frame. It has just a little scrolly mirror in it, and I already had this on hand. I bought several months ago, and then I found this Keep Calm and Wash Your Hands. It's a little cute farmhouse sign. I want to put this up next to my kitchen sink just as a reminder for me and my kiddos, which I constantly am washing my hands, but you know, we all need this great reminder. Keep calm, number 1, that's such a great reminder. And number 2, wash your hands. So make sure that you're washing your hands for 20 seconds thoroughly with soap, and that will also help prevent the spread of this virus. So I thought this cute little sign would be fun, especially if you guys have little ones or just somebody in your home that needs that helpful hint or reminder. And honestly, sometimes I need to remember to keep calm and wash my hands, even though I'm really pretty good about washing my hands, to be honest with you. But I thought this fun little reminder would be great. Now, because I'm using this mirrored frame and I'm not using the frame with the mirror part on it, and I do want to set this by my sink, I realized that I needed to have some kind of protective covering over this once I popped it back into my frame. Super cute, but then I realized again that I need to cover this, so I whipped out my Mod Podge, and I just decided to go ahead and add a layer of Mod Podge. This is the dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and so this will give a nice little protection in case any water splashes up on this, and it is going to sit in my windowsill next to my kitchen sink, again for that helpful reminder. So comment and let me know what you guys are doing to help remind yourselves and your family members to stay safe and wash their hands. Do you have any cute little signs, any ideas for me? I would love to know, since we're all at home trying to be safe and remembering to wash our hands. For the next DIY, I want to share with you all how to put together a little DIY sanity basket. So for mine, I'm going to pop in these prayer cards. I picked them up at the Dollar Tree a couple of months ago, and I've been trying to share prayers and prayer cards with you all on my social media accounts. It just helps me refocus and recenter. I also am going to pop in this Fear Is Not the Boss of You. It's a book by Jennifer Allwood. I actually have not read it yet. My husband just surprised me with it today. He ordered it from her a couple of months ago, but he used to work with her husband, and she's super great, motivational, and a great Christian lady. I'm also going to pop in this journal. I found that at Dollar Tree as well, and this pencil. I really encourage you all to do your best to find some things that help you kind of calm down, an unwind with all of the things that are going on. It can be an uncertain feeling to not know everything that's going to be happening in the future. I know I've had my ups and downs, as I'm sure all of you all have. So I encourage, make yourself a little sanity basket, whether it be stationery to write a loved one, or some books or prayer cards or a Bible or whatever helps you get through these days and just get that little piece of sanity. Of course, I had to pop some roses next to it and add a cute little bow. For the next DIY, I want to create a cute little box trash can for the car. So I'm just going to take this box and I just folded the edges down. You could also trim them off. And I'm going to take this Dollar Tree contact paper. I purchased it a couple of months ago, but use whatever paper you have on hand. And I'm just going to run it in and along the box to see about the size of the box. If you want to be really precise, you could measure it, but I'm just kind of eyeballing it and going for it. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim it down one end and then measure it to the size of the box and trim it down the other end. Now, the purpose for this box again is going to be for my husband's car. I want him to have a safe spot for him to dispose his gloves into. This might be a great idea if you have to be out and about to get groceries and have gloves and you don't see a wastebasket and you need somewhere safe to put your gloves. So hopefully this gives you guys an idea. And it's also not a bad idea just to have a little trash can in your car. So this is like just a little car trash can. Or you could make a little wastebasket with a box really for any space in your home, to be totally honest with you. So whatever you guys need a cute box for, here you have it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the contact paper and just run it gently down the side of the box. And that's going to easily fit onto this little box. Now that I have my bags finished and covered, I'm going to go ahead and pop this Walmart bag into the center of the box and just drape it over the edges. This is going to be a great place for used gloves to go. I want to label it used gloves. That way everybody knows we're just going to put used gloves inside of this box. The proper way to remove your gloves is to pinch right at the wrist and just go ahead and begin to pull your glove down and then inside it out as you remove it, and then safely pop it into the plastic bag. To remove the next glove, you can just kind of gently put your finger underneath the glove and again inside it out. Do not touch the outside of it, and then pop it into your plastic bag. That way you can remove your gloves safely. You don't have to leave them anywhere besides inside of your little bag here. So hopefully that helps. Now, another great idea for sanitizing a surface, if you don't have bleach on hand, if you have alcohol in your cupboard, you can go ahead and pop a little spray nozzle on top of your alcohol and just clean straight with your alcohol. The other thing the CDC recommends is cleaning with 3% hydrogen peroxide. That also will kill the virus.
DIY, we're going to create a super adorable French farmhouse faux enamel tub. So I'm going to take this cute little graphic that I found on graphicsfairy.com. It has some French lettering and also a lamb. I will leave a link to graphicsfairy.com down below, and I'm going to just cut it out, and then I'm taking this plastic bin from Dollar Tree and I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put a generous layer of Mod Podge. And actually I got a little bit too much here, you guys. I did end up kind of going in and around though the entire thing and getting it really glued on really well. So once I had a layer of Mod Podge applied, I went ahead and put my little French farmhouse sticker on the front, and I got it nice and smooth on. And then I just took another layer of Mod Podge and went in with some Mod Podge on the front. Now you can see that my little lamb is missing part of its kind of face and body there. My printer was a bit low on ink, so I decided just to go ahead and fill it in with a little bit of Sharpie, and then I blended it with some paint. And this is such an adorable little DIY, and it is so fun and inexpensive. So how cute is this looking? I then decided to take some black paint, and this is just regular crafter paint, and then I'm using this little crafting sponge, and I'm going around the handle and the side of my little faux enamel tub to kind of make it look like it was aged. Back in my flea market days, I was always finding old enamelware, and I thought it just looked so fun and French country chic. So that's what I wanted to create with this darling little tub here. I'm definitely going to be using this in my kitchen decor just for extra storage. I've been doing so much organizing. I really wanted to have something super cute to be able to store some of my extra goodies in. So again, I'm just taking that sponge, and I'm also going in around the base of my little faux enamel tub. Think about doing the edges and the handles and the base, all of the places that normally an old kind of antique place would appear to be aged. I even did a little bit on the inside to kind of make it really nice and cohesive. And here it is in my little French farmhouse chic setup. Oh my goodness. So I popped this darling little pillow that we're going to make in this tub and some faux lavender. And then we're going to create this really adorable little banner. And oh my goodness, this is just so fun and fabulous. I'm so ready for some spring decorating, and I love to do fabulous items on a budget. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these cute little wooden chick cutouts, and I'm taking this wrapping paper that I had left over from Christmas, and I'm going to trace around the little chick, and then I'm going to cut it out. You can also find some buffalo check plaid paper at Hobby Lobby for $1/4 a sheet, and then I'm just going to take some Mod Podge, and I'm going to Mod Podge the front of my little chick, and then I'm just going to go ahead and add the little piece of paper. Think you guys could use pretty much any little piece of scrap paper you have laying around, but this is going to be so adorable. I really think the French farmhouse theme definitely has to have that little bit of buffalo check plaid, and I did get this wrapping paper on clearance at Target at the end of the season. So I added just a cute little jute twine bow, and then I just strung the little chicks on a piece of jute twine, and they're kind of hanging out of my little faux enamel tin. Eventually though, I am going to use these in my kitchen for my Easter decor, and I think they're fun because I can use them even past Easter. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, you're going to need one of these Dollar Tree glass bottles, and I just spray painted my bottle with some regular spray paint, and then I printed out these French graphics, again from graphicfairy.com. They are so amazing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and add some Mod Podge to the back of my little graphic label. You could really pick any label you wanted, but I definitely wanted to use some of these French sayings. If you just type in French farmhouse on graphicfairy.com, it'll give you guys all kinds of different graphics that you can choose from. And then I'm going to take some of that same black paint that we used on the first project, and I'm going to dab my little sponge into it. Now, when you apply the paint in these projects, you want to kind of just have a tiny bit of paint on your sponge. So definitely dab it off on your plate before you get to going. But I love this jar, or this bottle actually, it's from Dollar Tree, and once it's painted and then you're going back over it with this black paint, you can really see the beautiful detail on this. This is the first time I've actually done this type of project on this jar, and I was so impressed with the detail work with it. Oh my goodness, the sky is the limit. I really went to town distressing it and aging it, and I feel like this is something you would see at Hobby Lobby for much more. Now I'm taking some of that Dollar Tree jute twine. I wanted to let you all know that you can find their jute twine in the automotive section, and it comes 3 rolls to a pack, so you get so much bang for your buck. But I'm just wrapping some jute twine around this little project, and then I'm going to tie a shoelace bow in the front. This is super easy. You just tie a bow like you're tying your shoelace, but not hard at all. And then I'm going to add some of these cute little burlap rosettes. You can make these with some burlap, or I just ordered some off of burlapfabric.com. Super easy. And then I'm going to make a smaller one to kind of go in and around that same little spot. And I'm adhering it to the jute twine with some hot glue. How fun and fabulous is this? And I just used the little beaded garland that's hanging off of it. That was at Dollar General this season, so check that out. But you guys can pretty much find those anywhere. You can also DIY them. And I also just used this beautiful little striped kind of tablecloth piece. It's actually just a piece of fabric, but you could definitely make it into a tablecloth, and you can find that at burlapfabric.com. They also have that same pattern at Walmart. So here it is, all perfect and ready for a French farmhouse chic theme. I am definitely digging this. I think this is going to be so great to use in my kitchen. I'm using a lot of black and white in my kitchen with some pops of red, but I definitely feel like for spring, my pops of color are going to be purple. Comment and let me know if you guys use a bit of purple in your spring decor. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take some of this craft paper and then some of this wrapping paper, and I'm going to double layer these together. What I want to create is a really cute little fresh French farmhouse springtime bouquet. So I'm just cutting this off, and then I want to go ahead and take some of the Dollar Tree onion grass and some of the Dollar Tree lilacs. You could also use some lavender. They have lavender at Dollar Tree or at Walmart. And then I'm just going to gently wrap my paper around my little bundle of flowers. I know it would be so nice to have a fresh flower bouquet, but I even think I love this bouquet more because it's real and it will stay fresh pretty much forever. So I'm just going to take this scrap piece of black ribbon and I'm going to tie it around my little bouquet. I'm going to just knot it here. Super easy. This isn't hard at all. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut an upward triangle to dovetail my ends. That's going to give you that really beautiful boutique finish. And I think this is so gorgeous on a budget. You would definitely find this at HomeGoods or TJ Maxx for much, much more. Check your local Dollar Tree for some faux flowers. I think bundling the same flower together gives it more of a high-end look. So taking the onion grass and putting that in the back, and then I believe I used 3 bundles of lilacs, and I ended up also popping some faux lavender into this. And then I'm just taking the Dollar Tree jute twine and also one of those cute little French farmhouse labels that I printed out. I punched a hole in the front, and then I'm just going to string my little jute twine through here, and it looks like it is somewhat handmade, but also kind of fabulous, like maybe you got it from a boutique store or a fresh farmer's market, which I absolutely adore. So fun and absolutely fabulous, you guys. Definitely, what are you thinking about this? Do you do a French farmhouse chic theme or French country or any type of farmhouse? I feel like there's so many different ways you could spin the farmhouse look, whether it be modern or French farmhouse or farmhouse chic or French country. I think it's so fun though, just to add those little touches of country into the decor. It really gives my decor that homey feeling, but I like to add kind of a French chic spin on it. So here it is all together. I am so in love with these projects. What do you guys think about these? I'm definitely loving that nice spring flair with the pops of buffalo check and the blacks and whites. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this little Dollar Tree plastic basket, and then I'm going to take some of this Dollar Tree black and white rose contact paper, and I just traced it to the base of the basket because I want to take the contact paper and line the inside of the basket. So you just cut your contact paper out, which I love the contact paper. It's super easy to use because it has already made lines. So you'll just peel the back off, pop it into the base of your basket. And then I decided I actually wanted to cover the basket with this ribbon. They have burlap ribbon in this color at Dollar Tree. This was actually some ribbon that I bought on a super deep discount clearance at the Michaels after Christmas sale. So I was super excited to get this. And I'm just hot gluing some dabs of hot glue around the top edge and then also around the base of this to just go ahead and cover this entire thing. Again, I wanted to give it that French farmhouse chic flair, so I felt like adding the burlap was super cute, but honestly this basket is so adorable you could almost leave it as is. And then I decided to go ahead and add one more layer of ribbon on the top. So I'm just going to take and fold 1/2 of the ribbon on top of this side, run my hot glue down this, and so I'm going to hot glue here, and then I'm going to fold my ribbon over and hot glue on the inside. Be careful not to burn yourself, but this is so fun and fabulous, and I think this makes a great tray that you can set out in the center of your table or at your coffee bar or maybe next to your bedside table with some tissues and a candle or whatever suits your fancy. I just think this is so sweet, and it really gives it that high-end look by adding this extra piece of fabric. I decided to add my beautiful lilac bouquet, a bit of greenery, and some of those beads. I felt like that made it just look really nice, and I don't think you would ever guess any of these items are from the Dollar Tree. I think they're just looking so high-end and chic and absolutely gorgeous and making me so ready to decorate for spring. So comment and let me know, have you already started your spring decorating yet? I would love to know. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this little dish drying mat. It's in black that you can get from Dollar Tree. And Dollar Tree also carries these little black and white towels. They come 2 to a pack, and both of these items are going to be in your Dollar Tree kitchen section. What I want to do is create a little throw pillow, and I'm going to do this just by hot gluing 3 edges of these fabrics together. So I'm starting with this long edge of the fabric. So you're just going to run your hot glue down the edge. You could also use fabric glue, and if you're a seamstress or you have a sewing machine, which I do not, you could sew this, which would be great. But I love the instant results of hot gluing, and since this is just kind of a fun little throw pillow, I'm going to use in my decor. It's not that big of a deal. So you're going to continue on with that. And then once you're finished, you can stuff it with some fabric, hot glue the last end together. Don't forget to flip your pillow inside out. And normally I would share that with you guys, but the footage on the rest of that ended up being a little bit not so great. So here it is all finished and popped into this black and white decor. Don't forget to turn those edges inside out, but look at how finished it looks. I just really love that. I love how it's tying in with all of these beautiful blacks and whites. So as always, I ask you all, please comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. I love to hear what your thoughts are on my projects, especially because it helps me know what you would like me to create next. And if you have any requests, I'd love to hear what you guys are doing in your new spring and Easter decor. Also, this is part of my new I Love Spring series. I'm going to link the playlist for the rest of the series down below. You'll definitely have to go check out those videos. I've done a ton of Dollar Tree DIYs, and I am so excited to share more with you all. Thank you for hanging out with me. Y'all are just pretty much simply the best, and I have to tell you, I love you. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a French farmhouse fabric carrot. So I'm taking some of this leftover scrap of fabric, some Walmart grocery shopping bags, and some little leaves here, and then some paper towel rolls. We're going to take our paper towel roll and cut it in half. That is going to create the base of our carrot. I'm also going to unwind the paper towel roll from the start of where it starts to wind up, and then you're just going to go ahead and give it a bit of a twist. And then you'll take your shopping bags. I used 2 for half of a paper towel roll, and I'm just going to squishy up the shopping bag in one end and then squishy it up in the other end. And this is the fun part. You can go ahead and give it a little squeeze.
You want to kind of create the shape of a carrot form by twisting and turning your shopping bags and your paper towel rolls, and it's okay if it looks like a bit of a hot mess because we're going to cover it with some fabric so nobody is going to see your work underneath. And this is how it should look after you've done a bit of twisting and turning. Now I'm going to take a Dollar Tree baby blanket. I love this because it's great for a French farmhouse feel, and it also matches some pillows that I made out of Dollar Tree baby blankets in my living room. Definitely check out the link down below for all of my fun and fabulous crafts. Now I'm going to add the little twisted paper towel roll onto the bit of fabric and add some hot glue. I'm going to continue to roll the fabric inward and add dabs of hot glue as I go. That's going to secure it on to the fabric and also on to your little roll. Continue to roll till you get your entire thing covered, and then you can just take some scissors and trim off that excess fabric. If you're really particular, you can also leave an extra edge, fold it under so you'll get a nice seamless edge. But this is just a little garden carrot, so no worries here for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the end, and I'm just going to poke it down in the center, add a dab of hot glue to the little cardboard roll, and then you can just push your excess fabric in, and voila, you have a very fun and fabulous French farmhouse carrot. The next thing you want to do to finish off the more tapered end is you can just pull the fabric in, give it a bit of a twist, and add a dab of hot glue, and then you can even fold that little tiny end under if you want a more of a finished edge. And this is how it should look. Don't be frustrated. The first one of my carrots was not the best, so continue to practice and have fun with this. Now I'm going to take my tulip green leaf, which I didn't have any really great green leaves to make for my carrot, so I'm just making them a little bit more spindly and fun. And so I'm just going to add another dab of hot glue to the end of my carrot and then pop in some greenery. So this is really fun, fabulous, and easy. And I'm going to tell you guys that I see these little fabric carrots out pretty much everywhere at all of the home decor stores, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, TJ Maxx. They're always in fun and neat prints. And I think it's just a fun, whimsical way to add some little carrots into your home decor. They look beautiful in baskets or to any pretty much little Easter vignette. I like the soft grays. I think it's really beautiful. I also did create some in that ticking fabric you can see off to my right, and also some buffalo check plaid ones as well. Now that I'm finished with several of my carrots, I ended up making about 7 on this day, and I'm just going to go ahead and trim off a piece of jute twine that I found at Dollar Tree. I'm wrapping it around my little bundle of carrots, and then I'm going to tie them because, you know, I've been shopping at the French farmhouse market, and so I'll have to have them added into my fabulous basket. So here is how they are looking, popped into my little Easter vignette with my darling bunny, my calm and cozy candle, and then my super snuggly little French farmhouse carrots. The other thing I like about having these fabric carrots is it gives a bit of a textural element to any of your displays that you're doing for spring, which I think is nice to add in that cozy vibe. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to take these 2 little signs and then these 2 little Dollar Tree frames. I found all of these goodies at the Dollar Tree, and what I want to do is take my 2X Rust-Oleum spray paint and just go ahead and spray paint my frames. You can get the super cheap spray paint at Walmart, but I do like the 2X because it has a primer in it. And then I'm taking some of this Waverly Antique Wax. After I'm done spray painting my little frames, I let them dry, and then I'm just going to take this antique wax and kind of gently go over them. I'm using a bit of a cloth. This cloth is just an old rag I had. It suggests to use a lint-free towel. You can also use a chalk paint brush. I didn't have either one of those really on hand, although I think that my little rag here might be lint-free. I'm really hoping it is. I don't see lots of lint, but I'm just going to add a very, very tiny amount of my antique wax and then brush that off. Now I'm going to go ahead and add some hot glue in and around my little Dollar Tree frame. This one says God, Goals, and Grind. I think this will be cute, really cute for me to wake up to, and adding the dab of hot glue will secure this. I do want to suggest you add a dab of E6000 glue to this as well to get it to stay on really nicely if this is going to be your finished product. I'm also adding the same frame. I did it in the same style with the white spray paint and then the bit of antique wax, and then I'm just going to take the backing off of those frames and hot glue them to the back of the little sign, and that way they can both stand up. So I think this is so great.
I really feel like this is something you would find at Hobby Lobby for about $6 to $12 or any of your home decor stores. Little did we know that it was only from the Dollar Tree. With a bit of paint and TLC, we made these really beautiful little custom signs, and I really think it glammed them up to add those touches of that extra scrolly design frame. Also, if you're decorating in a French farmhouse style, the little scrolly designs are very French, we'll say that, I suppose, or shabby chic, or just whatever suits your fancy. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're gonna make some carrot napkin rings. I'm taking these Dollar Tree napkin rings. They come in a 6-pack in the Dollar Tree party section, and I'm just using this burlap colored fabric. And you want to go ahead and hot glue a dab of hot glue onto your napkin ring, and then just begin to wrap the burlap around your napkin ring. Now remember, you can customize this to suit whatever decor that you love. I'm showing burlap here, but I'm also going to show you guys a little bit more of a girly kind of a French farmhouse glam style with some lace ribbon. But just dig into your stash. You could use fabric, you could wrap it around the napkin ring. I'm just hot gluing till I got all the way where I was covering the silver. You could even paint these, but for time's sake I decided just to use this ribbon. And then I'm hot gluing my cute little Dollar Tree carrot on. The Dollar Tree carrots come, I believe, 4 to 6 to a pack. And then you have something very customized, something you would find at maybe a Pier 1 Imports or your home decor stores for very lots less, very budget friendly, I would say. So now I'm just adding this burlap ribbon on here. Now this came with a bit of lace. I got both of these ribbons from burlapfabric.com. I will leave a coupon code Olivia Spring that will give you $5 off if you want to check that out. But I'm doing the same thing. I'm just wrapping it around the little napkin ring, and then I just want to add a little dab of hot glue to the center here and add the carrot. Don't go too generous on your hot glue with the carrot because the carrot is rather lean, and so you don't want the hot glue to be popping up. But here's how they look. They fit perfectly with a thrift store linen napkin that I found onto my little table setting, and I do hope to share with you all some beautiful spring and Easter table settings in my dining room. I'm hoping to work on refinishing my tabletop. I used it for years for crafting. It's quite a mess, so I do always have to use a table covering. But here is this beautiful little vignette. I think it's so beautiful and wonderful to do these beautiful handmade crafts on a budget. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take some white Waverly chalk paint that I found at Walmart. My store finally had the white back in stock, and I'm just going to chalk paint this large garden planter that I found at the Dollar Tree. I love this one because it had a basket weave on it, and it is plastic, but the chalk paint does adhere fairly well to plastic. Now, this is going to be an indoor DIY only, so I suggest if you're doing something with outdoors, you may want to use more of a metal garden planter that you're chalk painting. But let me know if you guys do try this and use it outside, and I'll try to let you all know if I try this technique outside as well. So then I'm going to go in again with the Waverly Antique wax, and I just want to add a bit of wax in and around where after I had chalk painted I let it dry, but I wanted to give it a bit of an aged appearance and pick up some of those lovely little basket weavings on the side. Again, when you're going for kind of that French farmhouse feel, you want things to feel a bit lived in and aged. And then I'm just taking one of those Dollar Tree little brown basket planters. You can actually plant real flowers in here, but for now I'm just going to use some faux lavender. They have it at Walmart for 97 cents a bundle. It's really lovely and it does not shed like the Dollar Tree lavender does. I did pop in some little floral foam into the base of this. I want to create an indoor lavender. I actually planted real lavender last summer. Of course, that is gone right now because it's the middle of winter, so I thought it would be nice to plant some beautiful lavender. Well, this is our faux lavender, and then just have it inside my home and maybe even spritz it with some lavender spray, just to kind of bring spring inside my home. I did do okay with my real lavender that was outside last year, but I will tell you that I know that my faux lavender is going to last much longer. So now I'm just trimming off the little bundles. I ended up using 5 bundles bundles from Walmart of their faux lavender. This would also be beautiful with tulips, or you could do lilacs, or whatever suits your fancy and whatever kind of home decor that you're decorating with. But I think it's fun to add kind of this fresh lavender look into a French farmhouse look. I also did go in with a bit of moss and kind of add that in and around so you couldn't see any of the floral foam. And here is how it is looking. It almost looks real to me, which I absolutely love, but then you don't have all of the maintenance of having that real lavender, and it can bring that pop of spring inside. And I think the camera is picking up where it looks a little bit blue, but it actually looks more purple in person. But so fun and fabulous and all ready for some spring dreaming. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Be Grateful little sign, and this kitchen is seasoned with love. I found them both at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove them from the Dollar Tree frames, and then I want to take these little Dollar Tree frames and go ahead and give them a nice layer of chalk paint. And I will tell you that I did use 2 coats of the Waverly white chalk paint that I found at Walmart. It's definitely hands down my favorite chalk paint unless I'm making my own. Now that I've given my frame some time to dry, again, I'm going to go in with this Waverly Antique wax finish, and I'm just going to very gently with my little towel kind of rub the wax finish over the frame. So when I went about this process, I did give a little bit, and do not use very much of that wax. Use a tiny bit will go a long way. If you want it more antique, then you just add in more. But then if you do feel like that you have added too much, you can go back in with the part of your towel that doesn't have any wax on it and just gently wipe any excess off. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my little pictures back in. I will be using these in my kitchen. I have started collecting some of the Pioneer Woman decor, and I feel like this matches so nicely with it. And I think just the simple act of painting those Dollar Tree frames took this photo or this little picture up so much. It just looks so much more high-end having that cheap frame painted. And you know, maybe if you're loving a little bit more of a different feel, maybe of a modern farmhouse, you could just paint it all the way dark gray or whatnot. But here it is mixed in with this beautiful little French farmhouse setting, and I just love the Be Grateful reminder. I think it's such a big reminder. I think this year is going to be my year of being just obsessively grateful and thankful. I always find that when I'm more grateful in my life, that I just do better. I am more happy and at peace and at ease with everything and everyone around me. So there's my little 2020 mantra. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, again, I'm going to take that 2X with primer spray paint. I spray painted my little Dollar Tree pots. You buy them 3 to a pack at Dollar Tree. They're just little clay pots. And then once those had dried, again, I'm going in with that Waverly Antique wax, and I'm just gently antiquing these. You could even add in some more paint to give it even more of an aged look with like some grays and blacks and some layers. But when I go in for a springtime look, a lot of times I just want a very light layer of antiquing underneath a very bright white. And then I'm just going to add in some styrofoam and just hot glue that to the base, and then pop in some more lavender. So these are going to be some mini lavender pots, which I thought might look nice setting next to my larger lavender pot. I think these would even do okay outside on my covered bench on my front porch. So if I pop them out there, I will definitely let you guys know. And I will also probably add some rocks because we live on a hill, and add some rocks into the base of these. That way they don't fly fly away, because when the wind kicks up, I have everything on my front porch likes to end up in the neighbor's next door yard. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pop some more lavender in. For these 2 little Dollar Tree tiny pots, it took 2 bundles of lavender. So I hope that helps. And then here we go. Oh my goodness, this is definitely what I'm thinking for how I want to decorate my dining room. I want to find some more of these bunny plates. This was actually my mom's. Sorry, Mom, if you're missing this plate. But this was hers. And so I think she had brought over some baked treats, and then somehow it just found its way into my stash. Not on purpose, I promise. But anyway, here is an overview of everything in this set of DIYs. As always, I ask that you comment. Let me know, what was your favorite DIY in this session, and which one would you all love to be recreating? And I just want to thank you for everybody that's posting on my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page. I am so inspired by your beautiful pictures of your home decor and your DIYs. I would love to invite everybody over there to share in the fun community over there. And then also don't forget to tag me on Instagram, Olivia's Romantic Home Instagram, and then I can share your DIYs on my story. So thank you guys again, and don't forget to comment and let me know which one was your favorite. And what do you guys think about the crazy little carrots made out of paper towel holders? Funny thing is I've had that DIY in my head for a while now, and I was even nervous this morning if I was going to be able to execute it, and I think it came out pretty darling. And there's those buffalo check plaid ones. I made them in the exact same way as the checkered ones that I made using the Dollar Tree blankets. So I love y'all, and I'm so honored and blessed to have you here. I hope you're having a fun day crafting and just a gorgeous blessed.
So thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is such a true blessing and an honor to have you all here, to have you watching this video. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the little bell. It will update you every time I post a new video. It's totally free, and it's so fun to be a part of this little community. And if you guys want to connect socially, I have an Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook group page. It's totally free to join. Request to join my Facebook group page. I'll approve your request, and you can start posting photos of your home decor and your DIY projects. I love to see what you guys are up to. Thank you guys again for being here. Oh, and also if you tag me on my Olivia's Romantic Home Instagram page, I'll share your projects on my Instagram story. You guys are so inspiring over there, so thank you guys for that. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for being here. I cannot wait for the next round of DIY projects and new decorating for a new season. We are looking forward to the future with so much hope and joy in our hearts, and it's really going to be a wonderful time. So keep your heads up, keep going, keep crafting and decorating and doing your best to stay positive. I want to hug all of your hearts so tight. Thank you guys again for being here. I'm Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home. I cannot wait for the next video, but until then, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.